Yeah, this is lovely too. This is dope.
We are live. Peace, people. This is your brother, Mr. Holipsism. I'm down with my other brother, Emoji Black.
Peace, peace, peace. What up, though?
And the topic of discussion for today is what is a nationhood influencer? Now, um, what does it mean to be a nationhood influencer? What describes a nationhood influencer? How do you become a nationhood influencer? Why do we need nationhood influencers? And I think before we get into that, I think we should first just, describe what is an actual social media influencer. What is that? And this will give you a brief definition if you don't mind me reading.
Please.
What are social media influencers? Over the last decade, we have seen social media grow rapidly in importance. More than 3.4 billion people actively use social media. That's 45% of the world's population. Inevitably, these people look up to influencers in social media to guide them with their decision making. Influencers in social media are people who have built a reputation for their knowledge and expertise on a specific topic. They make regular posts about that topic on their preferred social media channels and generate large followings of enthusiastic, engaged people who pay close attention to their views. Brands love social media influencers because they can create trends and encourage their followers to buy products they promote. And on that note, I got a question for you, Yamoja.
Ask it.
And this is in the spirit of Amos Wilson. In today's society, what does a social media influencer actually influence?
um, Man, that's a loaded question. The short answer is, I would say, I'm trying to think of a good word for, they influence entertainment, they influence lethargy, they influence apathy. And when I say that, it's like, because you could have somebody like there's a brother, right? They also influence comedy. They influence like getting away from the real world, and it's not always in a good way. Like for instance, there's a brother on, I think it's on TikTok, and there's an African brother too, and he does a thing where he'll be somebody will be doing something like they're making this special meal out of a cucumber, and they're doing it really difficult, and he'll do a duet, and then he'll go with the same cucumber and like get a knife and just chop it in half and look like that's all you had to do. And that's funny, and it's like comedic value and stuff like that, and his brother gets like hundreds of thousands of views on just doing this. There's
Hmm.
all kind of stuff. There's these twins, because I'm into fitness and stuff. There's these twin girls who like super flexible, and they'll just like go on a football field and do a few cartwheels and a few backflips, and then look up and have their hair looking all cute and stuff. Millions of followers, right? So it's
Hmm.
like it's really crazy how I don't want to belittle anybody's talents, but it's a lot of stupid stuff that just seems really dumb. Like, this is stupid, and sometimes it's hilarious, but it's like, this is crazy. These people getting all this attention for nothing. It's given in terms of actual value, like in
Hmm.
terms of like edifying value, zero. A laugh
Right.
here, a laugh there. Sometimes you might even be disgusted. Like, they got people who literally go around popping pimples, yo. Like, straight up. And people look at this, thousands and thousands of views a day. So it's really wild, though. It's really wild. But a lot of times it's really influencing destruction, though. It's a lot of nasty stuff out here that kids be doing. A lot of drug culture stuff is going on. A lot of pranks is going on that's getting people hurt. Like, yeah, I can go on and on. I didn't even think about the question, but it's a loaded question, though.
Yeah. Like there's a lot of people influencing a lot of things. And I think that ties into the topic of this show. Why should we be nationhood influencers?
Peace, everybody. Uh, you want me to answer it briefly?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, I think when sort of like how I was just saying, like a lot of us are being influenced, and when we say influencers, this is something that's like cross cultural. Period. Cross ethnicities. You got I see some people doing some Asian stuff sometimes scrolling through TikTok, and I'm like, oh, that was kind of cool and neat, right? Like, so it's cross cultural, but we seeing people getting influenced, and like things go viral, things get popular, but none of it is really for our benefit. Like, it's very rarely something for our benefit, and when it is, it's like, okay, this black person created this, or this black person created this little movement, and they're going to get a bunch of advertisements, and they might sell some merch, and this one black person might literally become rich off this like viral clip. Cool. That ain't doing nothing for our people though. Like straight
Mhm.
up. But the nationhood piece will actually get people first of all thinking about nationhood, thinking about what it means, actually learn about what it means, and then learning about what it means for us in BAIO. And then hopefully they come on board, and then hopefully we actually be doing this stuff while we're looking at TikTok videos of people dancing, while we're looking at videos of people twerking, while we're looking at videos of people picking boogers and everything else, at the end of the day, we still got something to go to say, wait a minute, but I have a plan. So we're going to have our own social media, our own viral hits, our own stuff. So just give us something to be like looking forward to
Mhm.
the future instead of just sitting here being distracted 24/7.
Right. And to be honest with you, I've been a nationhood influencer without even
Yeah,
knowing that I was a nationhood influencer.
exactly.
Like
Exactly.
until you came up with that term, I was like, oh shit, that's actually what I've been doing.
Exactly. Exactly. And I was because we was having a conversation, excuse me, we was having a conversation, and because most of us are like spread out. We're spread out in the States and throughout Africa. So we're not always together, but we trying to do the same thing. So I was like, and like something that you would mention is like, y'all, we need to be sharing these videos. We need to be trying to make our content go viral.
Hmm.
AKA, we need to be nationhood influencers. And it just hit me like, no, we need to be influencing nationhood. Everybody is influencing fitness. Everybody is influencing health. Everybody is influencing uh, uh, gender wars. Everybody is influencing all these different things. Like, let's just influence nationhood. Let's just influence nationhood. Go ahead, though. I don't want to keep on carrying on because I don't want to get into some
No,
stuff that you want to
nah, man,
talk about.
go for it. It's nothing I had planned. I mean, because
Hmm.
basically this is your topic, so I'm like, want to give you the light.
Well, yeah, because the thing about influencer, right? When I think of influencer, I think of somebody who like people want to hear from you. You have something to say. It's exciting, it's interesting, and it gets people thinking. See, the interesting part about influence and nationhood, we're not trying to sell anything. That makes it hard off top because when you're trying to sell something, it gets people talking more. Just even if it's on the base of value, I ain't buying that shit. These motherfuckers charging 20 something. Like that is one of the things about media. What they say, when you're in any news is good news. Like if you're a
Hmm.
business or if you're new, if you're entrepreneur, if you like, trying to be an influencer and they're talking about you, whether it's bad or good. If you like how people talk about some of these crazy fake people trying to talk about all the hotep isms and everything else. These people are popular as hell talking about BS, talking
Mm.
about BS because they keep putting stuff out in the ether and people are sharing it and they're going viral. So I'm thinking, how do we then take this content that, if we're being honest, if you don't have a heart for your people and if you really don't care about the future of your people, nationhood is 100% boring. Let's get that out the way. No one cares. If you really don't have a heart for the future of your people, none of this means anything to you. And
Right.
that's the hard part. So now it's about how do we get people like, let's say if you're somebody who has absolutely no interest in fitness, you're not fat, you're not out of shape, you eat good, you just blessed with good genes, right? So you don't do a damn push-up. But every now and then you see somebody on a bar doing something crazy and you actually sit there and look at it and you like it. And you even say, I know sometimes I shared a video and I remember you said, Big Bro, you were like, man, I gotta get in shape to get in shape, right? Like stuff like that though. People who don't actually are interested in this, but you might see somebody using a tool or fixing a lawnmower, and you're like, damn, that's pretty cool. And you ain't even got a damn lawn. You understand? Like that
Right.
type of stuff. How do we get people who ain't even thinking about this really? Who people who need this and don't know that they need it until they hear us and be like, damn, that's a really good idea. Maybe I should look into this more. That's the idea. Even using the term influencer in it gets attention more. Period. When
And
people
see,
hear
this is the
influencer,
reason. This is
go
the
ahead.
reason why we need people. We need younger people,
Yep.
people who have that vigor and that energy to go head to toe. Because to be honest with you, like, and I said this before in like our private meetings, the Kevin Samuels model would work perfectly for this. If you had somebody that was a personality that just opened up the lines and took challenges from people that was against nationhood, do you know that channel would have 1 million viewers within a year? It probably less than that because people
You ain't
love
lying.
confrontation. People
Yep.
love battling. And if you have some now, if I had the patience, I'd be the perfect candidate to do it. I just don't have the patience. I don't have the patience to go back and forth with people over the painfully obvious.
Right. Exactly.
It's going to take
Exactly.
somebody with much more patience than me, and somebody who probably isn't as jaded as me by being involved with these people for so goddamn long.
pardon me for pardon me for laughing, but I want people to hear this, especially the people who may not know much about BIO and like hopefully somebody who's being influenced to like see this video for the first time, and when you hear him talk about the angst that we experience, y'all, this is like thankless work, and it is work, like when like
Mhm.
people would say stuff like, well, what you doing, and well, you can do stuff, where they point at the individual when it's like a global thing that we trying to do. Y'all, it's so frustrating and low-key traumatic going through this stuff day after day,
Yeah.
year after year, straight up. I promise you,
Remember what
y'all,
we
it
used
is
to hear?
tough.
What we used to hear is, "Oh, you guys don't beat on your guys are not on the continent." Well, now we're on the continent. Now
Exactly.
we're in multiple countries. We've been
Exactly.
personally. Everybody you hear talking right now has been to the continent. So then
Yep.
what happens? They change the goalposts. Now it's something else.
For real. And another piece about the influencing part is like is like showing Africa, because most people who, let's say that they're not against it, but they just are unfamiliar, and all they know is like the bad images that they've got from like Western society. So
Mhm.
showing Africa, showing African men, showing African women, showing that, hey, you know what, Africa actually has this shopping center too. Just like I did the video, I like made a little collage video of my Tanzania trip. Stuff like that. This is what people need to see. So they see Africa, they see regular African American men and women on the continent enjoying themselves. Like, and like another thing that I think is different about us, and that makes it actually harder for us, which sounds actually counterintuitive, but the fact that we are not asking anybody for anything. I think
Mhm.
people have a hard time with that. It's like if a man come up to a woman and just like, no, you're beautiful, and I just want to tell you that you're beautiful. If you ever need something, here you go, blah 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 blah. And this man means it, but this woman then been so jaded and so fucked over so many times that she like, man, this nigga must be crazy. He must be, something's wrong with him. I will never call no man who just comes up to me and act like he wants to just treat me good. Right. And that's kind of, seriously, that's kind of
Yeah.
like the same energy that we get when we say, yeah, because when you say we're an organization, the first thing people think is these niggas is full of shit. They're gonna want some money and everything else. The second thing I always lead with is that we don't want your money. Save your money to go to Africa. That's what we do, literally. And I just don't get it, because in my mind I'm like, yo. Once I heard about BAIO, it was like, this is exactly what I want to do, exactly where I need to be. Until this day, then 4 years later, I ain't been, nobody asked me for nothing, man. And that's important to me. To me, that's important. And people just don't. I don't. So it's like, how do we influence? How do we influence this? That's
Yeah,
where the
we just
nationhood
recently
influencer
did a
comes in.
video called the BAIO membership dues, and it had nothing to do with money. It was all the term that underrated likes is there's all mouse click energy.
That's it.
Mouse click energy. Liking a video, sharing a video, leaving a comment, putting out the social media on your actual social media so other people can know what you're about,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. None of that requires money. And to be honest with you, I can't think of anything that we need that requires money.
Exactly. Exactly. People don't. And another part of the influence in nationhood, being nationhood influencers, is educating. Is educating,
Hmm.
and I feel like a lot of times the educating that is like important for us to do, and the education and the educating that we do, I think it gets clouded by what's the term that I want to use, by damn man, I think that it gets clouded by like by the jaded spirit that like people like you and myself have. I think it gets clouded by disingenuous arguments. But the teaching that we need to do is not hard. It's so simple, but people, it's just so hard to get people to like not just want to fight us, not just
Hmm.
want to fight us and just say just disingenuous arguments, man. It's real. Just thinking about it right now just gets me heated, straight up,
Yeah.
because it's not hard. What we're offering is simple. It's not hard, and it's possible. It's so possible. And what we not paying attention to is that we don't have the time. We don't have time, y'all. We don't have time. Straight up.
Yeah, time is running out. And I wanted to just go back on something you were talking about in terms of the continent. I want people to think about this and think about this logically. We live as Black people in America in a country that hates our guts. We're treated like second and third class citizens. We're not respected. So I think it's safe to say that in America, Black people are not liked. So ask yourself a question. Why would we go over to Africa in a country that don't like us? Why do you have people who are repatriated to other countries and people are actually not only repatriated, but singing the country's praises and telling people to come over? If they're in an environment of people that don't like them, doesn't that seem very strange to do? So doesn't that obliterate this whole Africans don't like us bullshit? You've been to Tanzania. Did you get was people giving you the side eye and
Oh
asking why you there? Or were they
my
welcoming you,
goodness. My
showing you
goodness.
love?
My goodness. I promise you, man, I've never and I'm not the type that's gonna like blow something up just because I'm interested in it. If it's bullshit, I'm gonna call it out. Let's be clear about that. My experience there, man, if anybody's seen any of the pictures, exactly how it looked is exactly how it felt. Absolutely beautiful, absolutely peaceful, absolutely zero problems. I walked the streets at 2 in the morning by my damn self just to see how it feels. Several nights while I was there, I got to do everything I wanted to do. Everything I wanted to do, whatever I wanted, literally I did. There was
Hmm.
nothing there that was limited. I could do anything from, if I wanted to, I can go and play some video games. If I wanted to, and if I wanted to, I can go and dip in the damn Indian Ocean, like, and everything in between. If I wanted to go out to a bar, if I wanted to get there was women everywhere. If you're into men, men everywhere, like everything, and everybody treated me like I was. They didn't know that I wasn't Tanzanian until I talked. Hello, like straight up,
Hmm.
I got treated like I was supposed to be treated. I got treated like I was family. And I
And
still
in
got
case,
relationships with people there. I till this day I got relation. I just made a post with a sister who has an Airbnb there, and she wants people to come and stay with her. Wonderful sister, man. Yeah, man. I had a great time there. I had a
and
great time there.
I posted the link to your interview that we did with you when you got back from Tanzania in the
Hmm.
chat room. So if anybody wants to check it out, click on that link and you can check it out. But that's the point. It's like it's a lot of these myths that we smashed by simply being on the continent, by being in these places and seeing what's going on. Like I remember when we went to before we went to Rwanda, the big issue was, oh, the Chinese is taking over Rwanda. Thank God we went to go and see it for, and I actually have video of Africans working on roads. I ain't see no Chinese.
And and something else about being an influencer. Most of our sphere of influence now comes from the internet, and
Hmm.
most of what we seeing is fake. Most of what we see is fake, and we conceptualize it as real. And growing up in the West, all of our images, all of our thoughts about blackness is bad, y'all. except for the stuff that we came to about ourselves. But growing up in America, you are born and raised, and you going to school and you watching movies. All of them are telling you that black is bad. I don't care if you believe it or not, y'all. This is a fact. This is a psychological fact. Everything. So, with that being said, if you taught it in America, if you influenced by American media to think that black people are bad, what the hell do you think they influence you about where you come from is?
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's be honest. Most of us here know all kind of bad things about Africa, whether they true or not. You'll say people are corrupt. You'll go get killed by animals. You might get bit by a mosquito and die. Shit, that is literally that is impossible. And let me tell y'all another myth. Half of that stuff about getting when you talk about getting shots for all these things that kill people, do y'all know where those originated from? It originated from Europeans coming to Africa, because when they first started traveling to Africa, they would come and just die because they don't belong there. This is a fact, y'all. This is a fact. They would literally come and just die. They would
Mm.
bring diseases, but most of the time they would come, and that climate, the atmosphere, the animals, the bugs, it does not fit their DNA. So they would come and just die. And that's why they start getting all these shots and everything else. And then now they say, when you go to the embassy, they'll say, if you're coming from this place, you need to get a yellow fever shot. If you're coming from this place, you need to get this shot. It's because of white folks, y'all. So stop being told, stop being influenced to believe that Africa doesn't like you. You are Africa. It is your home. I promise you. It is your home. It is for you. Jeez. Sorry, y'all. That's just one of the frustrating things, that we think that we just think that we are them. We're not them. We are different, and that's okay. Yes, we're all human and all that other stuff, but we are different. Get over that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. That we all the same. We're not. We're literally not. We're genetically very different in
Yeah, like what
several
did
ways.
Ali say? The fresh fish is not the same as a saltwater fish. Is they both fish?
Hmm, hmm,
You know?
hmm.
You got birds. Birds is different types of birds. It's like they all birds, but they're different.
And that's
There's nothing
okay.
wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it, but we have to have our own, y'all. We have to have our own. That's all. That's all. No one's saying pick up weapons and fight. No one's saying you gotta leave your
It
job
stated that for
tomorrow
most that they do
and
in
just
fact
start
do.
traveling
Second,
to
not to
Africa.
mention the
No one's saying any of that. No one's saying any of that. We just saying change your mind. Change your mind. Because we need it. We need it.
Mm-hmm.
Where the people at? Where the people at?
That's Deontay. Deontay, you're gonna have to do something about your audio and also change your avatar to your state BAIO logo, so that
Mm,
way you're not
mm,
so way
mm.
you're not blank.
there would be
Yeah, he's going out to do that.
But yeah, and anybody in the chat, anybody in the chat,
Any
um
questions?
any questions and any ideas on how to make this on how to make this thing go, because like we're not going, I know for a fact that we're not going to do anything by ourselves. And for everybody who like just thinks about themselves, that's fine. Like, you have the right to just care about yourself and your immediate family. That's cool. I encourage you to. I also encourage you to do something as a team, because when you do stuff together, it typically works out better. It really does, because I've heard
Also,
several stories. Go ahead. Go ahead.
from just a selfish standpoint, let's say you're not about anybody but yourself. Doesn't it make sense for you to be in a context that allows you to grow the most that you can grow?
Exactly.
Like if you expanded your, like, take for instance, you have certain people who are billionaires here in America. Like I'll use Oprah Winfrey as an example, who's been a billionaire for a long time right now. Her wealth has not dramatically increased in this country. She basically got to a certain level, and that's where she's staying for the past 10 something years. Aliko Dangote went from $3 billion to like 13 in 1 year. At one point, he was a damn near 20 billion until the oil crisis started happening. And that's not, he's just one of them. There's like, you look at the African wealth, the billionaires in Africa, their wealth has increased exponentially. So just from a pure selfish standpoint, you would want your people to be in power.
Let me give another example. This is an example that I like to use. It's really simple. Really simple. Let's say that we having a meeting. We have one of them black people meetings that we like to have, right? Let's say it's 50 people there. At the end of the meeting, the leaders of the meeting say, hey y'all, we need whoever could stay to help us clean up because our time is over and we don't want to have to pay the extra fee for having it being late and everything else. So help us clean up, get up out of here, right? Okay, 3 people stays over. It takes their ass an hour to clean up. They get the fee and everything else and blah 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 blah. All right, the next meeting, 50 people again. They say again, hey y'all, the meeting's over. People help clean up so we can get this thing popping. This time, out of the 50, 20 people stays over. They're finished in 10 minutes. Everything's wrapped up. Everything's good. Everybody's home and everybody's happy. Do you see the
Mm-hmm.
difference? The more people you have help, the greater chance you have of not just success, but the efficacy rate increases dramatically. And I can't remember the percentage, but there's like, it's a scientific thing. The more people, it's obvious, right? If I got a big ass rock and I got 5 people and only 2 people helping, it might be harder. If 4 to 5 people help, it's gonna be easier. It's not. It's so frustrating to like break down because it seems so simple, but yeah. I don't know what kind of magnetic field is keeping us from just saying okay, let's just stop playing. But it's really getting drastic, y'all. It's getting drastic. It's getting drastic. It's getting very drastic. It's
Mm-hmm.
scary, really. It's scary if you're really paying attention.
Yeah, you're 100% correct, man. But that's the thing. It's like I've been taking the mantle myself personally to push forward the concept of nationhood since I came on YouTube. And I have seen dramatic changes in the content compared to what it was when I first got on. Because when I first got
Mhm.
on, basically it was a bunch of religious battles going on, scholarship battles where people was
Yep,
battling about history. And
yep,
then outside of that, it was the gender war bullshit,
yep.
the superficial complexion bullshit, light skin, dark skin, this
Hmm.
mix this and mix that argument. All of these roads to nowhere that we were engaging in. And we came out and started talking about nationhood, started talking about, um, having our own socioeconomic and political context. And that kind of like um, matured and grew from the inception. Because in the inception, we weren't focusing on Liberia. On the
Hmm.
inception, we were just
Hmm.
trying to we were just trying to get people warm to the concept that we should have a nation of our own. And then recently, we focused on Liberia as the nation state. So it's grown over the time. You know what I'm saying? Nothing has really changed. It's just elevated and grown and matured.
And like we're in the age that like we're like addicted to viral content. We're addicted to clicks and views, and the content creators, once it became monetized, like that's more important than actual change. That's more important than actually being effective in what we're doing. And that's
Mhm.
another thing that makes it difficult for us because we don't sit we don't sit and be thinking, for instance, how can we get more clicks and views so that we can monetize, so that we could. That's not what we do. Like ever. We sit and think, how can we get the right people here to help so we can make these moves quicker and more aggressively. That's what we do. Everybody else, they literally sit and think, how can we make this Chris Rock and Will Smith thing? How can we put this on our channel? Ooh, how can we put this Monique and DL Hughes? Ooh, how can we put this Biden stuff? That's what the average content creator, especially if it's some quote unquote conscious, they're thinking about, how
Mhm.
can I just get something to make my audience happy? That's it.
Right.
While we're sitting up here thinking, how can we doing something to get our audience engaged in Africa? It's a big difference, y'all. It's a
Right.
big difference between what we're trying to influence and what everybody else is doing. Everybody else is just trying to get a quote unquote conversation started. It's not what we're doing. We understand what the conversation is. We're trying to move ahead seriously. So yeah,
Right.
we just in a hard place, man. We in a hard atmosphere of this medium, straight up.
Yeah, we got to get the whole thing about it is involvement. Like people have become so used to being laying back in the cut like peroxide and not getting involved in shit. And I'm not even talking about deep involvement. I'm talking about mouse click energy involvement.
That's it.
That's it. Could
I
you
remember.
imagine if everybody that listens to us passed the video around? If
That's all it
everybody
needs.
actually commented on the video, like when you look at the comments, we got the usual suspects who comment, but we don't get a lot of comments because that represents engagement. If you're not engaging in the content, you're not passing the content, you're not letting people know. Like we get, like I get all kinds of private messages saying, "Yeah, brother, do your thing. Yo, I'm behind you. Yo, da 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 da." But yet none of these people will post a video on their fucking profile.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what are you afraid of? What are we talking about that is so radical and crazy that you can't put it on your page because you got a job? I have a job too. You think I give a fuck?
I have a I have a saying. I have a saying, big brother. The saying goes, give a black man, I say 50. I say 50K. I'll just say 50K. Give a black man 50,000 a year and a 401K, and he's completely neutralized.
Yeah.
It's a simple, it's sad, man, but it is that real. It is that real. Trust me. I'm on a couple well, I'm on one in particular group text with 7 different black men. Seven, all of them fathers, all of them, most of them married, really good dudes, good jobs and everything. And we'll be talking. And it's another brother on there who's quote unquote conscious, but I'm the dude who's like straight to, me. And every time they get to, yeah, you right, preach and all this other shit. But when it comes down to like doing something, all the neutrality comes out.
Yeah, they
I ain't gonna
scared to
say nothing to
even let
blast
people
people.
know. They
All
scared
of the
to even
scare.
let people know that they about
Literally,
nationhood.
man, it is crazy, y'all. And these are good. These are dudes who I would consider good, strong men, and everything else. Take care of their families and everything else. But when it comes down to like really fighting for their people, neutralized. It is insane. It's insane though, because I know them in their personal lives and where they work and stuff. These dudes walk around like white men. If I'm being honest,
Yeah.
they walk around kissing ass and tucking their tail, and then they get on there and they'll start complaining about something random. And it's really crazy, man. 50,000 in a 401K with some benefits. You neutralize a nigga. How to neutralize a nigga? How
And you
about
know
that?
what's so funny, man? They can get that in our nation.
Mm-hmm.
They can
That's what I said.
literally get that. As a matter of fact, that's small compared to what you can get.
Example, the other day they was talking about uh the abortion stuff that they doing. They was talking about Biden and everything else. And I was like, see y'all, I think that we have the capacity to right now be talking about how is our satellite program going and how is our road developments doing, as opposed to talking about who's gonna be the next old ass white man to run the country that we say is ours. Fuck out of here, man. How you gonna say
This
that
is
this country, in my country, the last few presidents wouldn't have been a bootlicker, wouldn't have been some orange dude, and damn sure wouldn't have been some 117-year-old white dude. That wouldn't happen in my in the country that I say is mine. That wouldn't be the leadership, yo. And when you say these things, people will nod their head and be like, "Yeah, you right. You got a point." Well, what the fuck? When we gonna do something about this point, y'all? When are we gonna do something about the point and stop just looking, sitting, letting life happen to us? You let life happen to you, or you do something. Simple as that, man. And where you're powerless, you fucking go get power. It's simple. If I'm powerless, let's say I used to work in addictions, right? One of the big things that they say, oh, I'm powerless over this addiction. I'm powerless over this. If you powerless over something, you either get away from it or you make yourself powerful. Simple as that. If I'm powerless over a fucking red pen, if every time I see a red pen, I want to stab people, I'm gonna do my very best to always stay away from red pens, period. Or I'm going to do
Mhm.
all kind of counseling and meditation and training to where I come across a red pen, I know how to defend myself. What I'm not going to do is just pretend like these red pen and my reaction to red pens doesn't exist. I'm not going to walk around act like I do not have a problem with red pens, because then every time I see a red pen, some bullshit is going to happen. But we walk around and act like everything's fine. We keep on raising our kids to say, no, all you got to do is work hard and you'll get, and you just got to work hard and you just got to keep your head down and everything else. And then our kids grow up and they see how they are fucked. They're fucked. Eventually they wake up and they see this shit is not right. This is not right. My mom and dad was lying to me, talking about all I got to do is work hard. All I got to do is this. So why am I keep seeing my people get killed? Why am I keep hearing all these things about racism and everything else? And what that does is raise another generation of bootlickers. What that does is raise another generation of people who think that America is it when it is not. And we have to stop this. We have a fucked up culture. Let's be real. Nationhood Influencers is about changing Black culture because a lot of our culture is counterproductive to us being here in the future. Period. It is about us now. It is not about white people. White people have done their job. We're done here in America, y'all. It's over. It's over. Stop playing. They're going to let you in position when they want to. They're going to give you these opportunities when they want to. And when they don't, they will just snatch it from you. Look at the NFL. Perfect example. All this Me Too stuff, Don't y'all know there's been several owners, billionaire owners in the NFL who's had lawsuits, who had all these stuff about sexual harassment. Ask me what punishment did they get? They got a fine, y'all. They got a fine. Nigga, let you get caught with a blunt in the wrong state. You'll get years in jail, years in prison. This is America. Let's stop acting like every time something happened and we get to saying, oh, well, if it was white, well, duh. Well, if it was Black, well, duh. You know this
Yeah,
once it
like
happens.
all
You
you
know
need is
this once
Captain Obvious to come out.
you you understand racism in its entirety when it happens. When it happens. But in but instead of being proactive and saying we need to make a place where we don't have to worry about this, we just gonna sit and wait as if natural selection is gonna come by and say, you know what? Black people are strong. Black people are the best. Let's get rid of everybody and just let them have the earth. That's not gonna happen, y'all. We have to take our spot. We have to take
Yeah.
our spot. And that's what we're influencing people to do. Is take our spot together. You're not gonna win the world by yourself, man. Together.
Yo, Deontay, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just muting my mic. I didn't want to interrupt or.
What state are you in, Deontay? I forgot.
Yeah, I'm down here in West Virginia currently.
West
Woe is
Virginia.
me.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Check your signal.
All right, no problem.
Um, I'd like to get some questions. Oops. Oh, Underrated is here. Peace, fam.
I got 100,000 honey clips, and I'm from New York.
You just always gotta be ignorant. You just
No,
can't help
he is the most random person I've ever came across. Like we'll be talking about a subject, and he'll just put in the chat mac and cheese. I'm like, what?
He really can't help it though. Like it's not a game. He legit see we be laughing at stuff like he's being funny. No, he's really, really off. He can't help it. He really can't help it. He's
Oh, come
crazy.
on, man. Don't put me out like that.
Okay, okay, okay,
Like we be
okay.
I'm a
talking about
nationhood
something.
influencer.
Un-
He'll just drop
underrated.
bubble gum.
Underrated. I bet you $5 before we end this stream, some random gonna come out your mouth that has nothing to do about nothing. How about that? How
You
about
know
that?
what?
I got 5 on it.
You ain't
And
gotta
that's
do
it.
me like that, man. I'm a nationhood influencer. Okay, let's talk about nationhood, man. $5. Oh, come on,
No,
man.
well, since everybody is on here, since the 4 of us are here right now, I want to make the distinction also about the nationhood influencer. The important part too is getting different people, getting different people. Like we don't need 500 hollops rolling around. We don't need 300 underrateds and 200 Dante. No, we need one of our few of all of us. And I love the different personalities, the different backgrounds. Like it's a bunch of different people here, men and women. And I really like that about us. Like we might not be as well known as we should be and everything else, but the team we have is pretty fucking dope. Straight up for what we doing. Like it ain't like somebody here is rich or somebody here is like a retired vet with unlimited resources to go travel the continent. No, we doing this all as like single people with families, young, middle age, and we come together and make shit happen. So I want to pat us on the back a little bit. Straight up, we might not be where we should be in terms of like influencing the population, but what we do with what little we have, y'all, real talk, we are doing something.
Oh
There is
yeah.
that. There is that.
I mean,
It's
just
just
look at the stream right now. We got somebody from New York, somebody from Oregon, somebody from GA, somebody from West Virginia, all together
mm-hmm,
talking about nationhood.
mm-hmm. So
And
it's
that's the thing
happening.
that I really like is that our process for recruiting has been really excellent to me because when we do get people in our midst, we get quality people in our midst. We get people that contribute hugely to what it is that we're doing. So it's like I always looked at the BAIO like a lighthouse and like during rough weather and stuff. Like that boat is looking for that lighthouse so it can know where to go. And I think that people of like mind, there are people out here who think like we do, but they haven't connected with us because there's so much white noise in between. So usually when they see us, it's like, oh shit, let me go that direction. There's the lighthouse. I think just about everybody who's on his phone now in the BIO had that type of feelings like, oh shit, there's people actually talking about this. I got to get with them. So I like that. I like that about our vetting process. It's like we connect with people of like mind. Of course, we do have to have people who are trying to convince people of nationhood, but that's not. I know for me, that's not my role. So we
Mm-hmm.
need people who are younger, people who are more patient than me, to be involved in that process because I'm not. I'm not doing that at this stage of my existence. Not doing it.
And to for like people who might be like maybe intimidated or scared, whether it's internally or externally, like come to us and ask questions. Like straight up, we'll give you an email address. You can come, like we will talk. We are so open to talking about this because we understand that we need each other. What few of us here though really just be genuine. Like if you actually interested, like be interested and ask real questions. We don't want to talk much about white people, and we don't want to talk about much about doing it right here. And the philosophy behind that is that most of us have seen what's happened right here. Like it's like when I hear people talk about history, I kind of get short and say like, okay, I think we have enough history. I think we understand history. And people come with that straw man. Well, if you don't know your history, then you'll repeat. Cut the crap.
Blah blah blah.
Well,
Cut
we're
the crap.
already
What about the
repeating
future?
it. We're repeating it
Hello,
right now.
hello. What about the future? I want to talk about the future, y'all. BIO was focused on the future. We understand, like just because I say focus on the future, that makes you think that I don't know any history. Think logically. Maybe I've done a lot of research about history, and I see that since the '60s, we've literally been doing the same shit, attempting the same thing, thinking that something is going to be different, while everybody else is lapping us, lapping us. We still plugging in, we still using wired internet connection, and everybody else is on fiber optics, wireless, and everything else, and we still trying to find a damn outlet. We
You
looking
know
around for
what?
an outlet to plug our shit in, and
You
everybody
know
else is
what?
wireless.
I gotta say this because this is something that only a person who is into nationhood and understands what nations are and want their own nation can come to this conclusion. What black people are trying to do in America are actually is counter to making this nation great. Because I'm assuming if they want to be here, they want a good nation. Because it doesn't seem to make much sense if you want to be in America and you don't want it to be a great nation.
Right.
I mean, am I wrong? So if you want this to be a great nation, then all of this black stuff needs to be thrown out the window. Throw it out. Why are you trying to create your or separate some or come up with some separate demographic inside of America? If you want this country to be great, then everybody has to view themselves as Americans. Isn't that what Paul Kagame did in Rwanda?
Yeah.
And what did it do? It brought the nation together.
Well,
So this whole black this, Chinese that, this that, whatever, all of these different ethnicities and stuff like that. If you keep referring to yourself from your country that you came from, that's not going to be very productive for this nation.
let me break something down you just made me think of that like changed my perspective on the way that I like that I just show myself. So I was at it was a Liberian, it's crazy. It was a Liberian wedding party actually right here in Portland. And I was there, and at this time, like I was like I have a bunch of chains. I got a bunch of chains, like African symbol, just a bunch of different chains and necklaces and stuff, right? And on this one, I had on one of my favorites, a chain with a nice size coconut Africa on it. I think I was wearing that one, and I was looking around, and I noticed that it just hit me like, I'm in a room with a bunch of Liberians, right? And I was looking around at everybody, how they were looking and everything else, and then it hit me that I'm so beat down as a black man. I'm at such a loss of identity that I aggressively was showing, nigga, I'm African. You gonna see that I'm African. I'm gonna show you I'm African by wearing African pattern shirts, maybe, which is not a problem, right? But I'm gonna have tattoos that show my Africa, and I'm gonna have these big ass chains that show that I'm African, and you ain't gonna take that from me, right? And I looked around at these people who are continental Africans. See, they know they Africans. I think I seen one brother with like a little, like a gold chain with like a little, like maybe a half-inch African little emblem on the end. That was it. Nobody was there with big African chains on and shit. Why? Because they know who they are. They know they African. Follow me. I say that to say, America has created us. America created RBG. America created Garveyites. America created the Nation of Islam. America created all of this, all of these Black Panthers. This is American made. We're not supposed to be sitting here focusing on our race and that's it. We so worried about our damn race, we ain't even worried about the economy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We so worried about black and white people being Thanos that we ain't even worried about what is our kids gonna be doing in 30 years. America has created us, y'all. Seriously,
Yeah.
and it really fucked me up. It made me so sad inside. Like, god damn, I'm so beat up, even though I'm coming out trying to act like I'm strong. But no, sir, you're doing this because you just learned about your identity and you feel so lost in it that you want to show everybody that you know now. And that's a fucked up feeling. It's a cold reality that we dealing with, y'all. And the sad part comes in, like what somebody will say, well, I'm intimidated or something like that. The sad part comes in that it's a lot easier to close your eyes, practice cognitive dissonance, and just stay sick and just try to be as comfortable as possible. Try to get you a house, try to get you a car, try to get you a good job, hopefully a good spouse, and maybe you can live a comfortable life, and hopefully one of your kids don't get killed by the police in America or nobody in your family. That's a lot easier than to deal with the reality that you are fucked here unless you do something about it. And that's the reality, y'all. We don't want to talk about it, but that's the real. Sorry.
Let's let Underrated handle that question that's on the chat. Oh, he just got off. Ah! What about Deontay? You there, Deontay?
Yeah, it says, how do we establish nationhood and prevent jealousy from our uh Dargo who are already on the continent? You're not gonna stop jealousy. There's always gonna be somebody hating on you. Establishing nationhood is like establishing pride in the country. That means that for you to establish that, you need to be doing the work for your country that needs to be done. For example, if the people need healthcare, we need to focus on healthcare. If the people need better roads and bridges, we need to focus on that. Infrastructure, whatever it is. As far as jealousy goes, there's always going to be somebody that don't like what you're doing. So having a secure state and a secure government is important. So what happened in Liberia in 1980 won't happen again. So that's where that's going.
Sorry about that. I had some issues, but even to add on to Deontay's answer, as far as well, I would say preventing jealousy. Yeah, that's something that you can't really control, but I would say one of the commandments that we do have in the BAIO is connect, not convince. And so, with the approach that we have as the BAIO, where we are, wanting to connect with other people, other Africans on the African continent, and collaborate, come up with strategies or plans and projects to better a certain situation, then that I would say reduces the jealousy, because we're not coming to a different place to say we're better. It's more so just how can we work together to make this country better, to make our lives better as a whole. So
Yeah, like we're not coming over there to lord over anybody. Like that's not what this is about.
yeah.
Yeah, we got to learn from the lessons of the past, like what was exploited to create situations, and how do we avoid that in the future. I just, another thing. This is just an aside, but I find it funny. Like I have people who are against Liberia, for say, right? Oh, Liberia is this, Liberia is that, da 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 da. But these same people I know personally renovate houses. They get a house that is not up to par, take it, put work into it to get it up to speed, and then they sell it at a much higher profit than what they initially bought it for. How come you can understand it when it comes to that, but you can't understand it when it comes to a country?
Yeah, like I'm so glad you brought that up, Paula, because last night I was talking to somebody, and she's born in America, but her family, in terms of her parents and her immediate family, grandparents and such, they're from Liberia. And she was telling how her dad and her grandfather, like, they have property there, and once they're working to, get everything situated, they want to retire, in Liberia, or go back to, what they built originally, because it's very cheap. Like, I think we talked about in the other live stream, where what it only costs at least 5,000 to, have a small single house or whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just a lot of potential and so much opportunities and things that you could just do over there. It's crazy in a good way.
Yeah, but I don't want people going to Africa just solely to retire.
Right,
Like,
right.
Right.
that's the thing that's what's worrying me right now. Like, I
Yeah.
was gonna call Mojo about this one yesterday, but I fucking fell asleep. It was late. But um, it's good that we're on this topic, because I'm just gonna talk to him about this. Like, I'm to the point now where, like, everything I do in this country is just a means to an ends. Like, if I can get over there quicker, the better, and just plant my flag and stay, the quicker the better. Like, like right now, we shouldn't, like, I'm not telling nobody not to, but I'm trying to make it so that, like, I'm not trying to make it like force anything, but I don't want people looking at Africa just something you wait until like the end of your life to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is a worry that I have, because I see young people going over there, but they're not going over there to stay. They're just visiting.
Yeah.
And then I see a lot of old people going over there to stay.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
trying to go over there and stay and do something. Like,
Right.
Yeah, you're right. You're
so,
right. I used to talk about that all the time. Like, people
yeah,
look at Africa as like some place to get some property and sip on Mai Tais. That's
yeah.
not what's gonna make your nation better. It's not. It shouldn't be looked at as a retirement home.
Mm.
Like, yeah, you claim you don't want to go to Africa because of this and that. Well, why don't you go over there and make it better? Why
Thank
don't you
you.
help them build roads? Help them get a running water, gas, electricity in every house, not just in the capital, but throughout the country. So
Right.
no matter
Because you
where you
do it here.
go,
You do
yeah,
it here.
yeah,
Because I've seen it. I've seen houses where, like, you see them initially, and they're just old. Like, the renovation is old and whatever. So they'll buy that house cheap, go over there and just put money into it. They'll replace the steps, replace the wall, do this, do that, and get it to it's up to par and modern.
right.
Now you can rent it out, or sell it for much more than you initially paid for. But you can understand that concept when it comes to that, but you don't understand the concept when it comes to fixing up your nation in Liberia.
No. They understand the concept of both. It's just the fact that they only want to do it in the United States. That's the problem in and of itself. They clearly understand the concept. Again,
Oh, so they
that's
rather
team.
spend more money in the United States than to
Yeah,
spend.
that's what
Oh,
it is.
okay. That makes a lot
Do
of
it.
sense.
Yeah, it does. It is do it right here. It's a stalling tactic, fam. You already know what it is. They understand the concept. It's just where they rather practice it. That's the problem, and that's where I draw the issue. We got two major issues that's not really being talked about. A, people looking at Africa as a retirement home. B, people who can do better, understand, can do all the stuff we want them to do, rather it be plumbing, electric, or whatever. They understand the concept of, well, we need to have those things, but they don't. They only want to do it here in the devil's den. They don't want to go to heaven and do it.
And
So
can I address the question? He says, "How do we establish nationhood and prevent jealousy?" Do you think Jews care about who's jealous of them? Do you think that that's something that they wake up in the morning and even concern themselves with? I don't give a shit about who's jealous of what we do. All I care about is our ability to do it.
yeah,
And people can get mad, they can get glad. I don't give a shit.
yeah, the haters can kiss my ass.
Just as long as the people of the country benefit from our presence there, that's all I'm concerned about.
Yeah,
I
like
don't
you.
care about jealousy. I don't care about how feelings. I don't give a shit about feelings, jealousy, envy, all of that shit. See,
Yeah,
that's the
like
problem in America because when you experience envy and jealousy in America, they burn your damn town down. So that's a legitimate concern if your issue is being here in America. Because there are repercussions to white folks being jealous in America. We've seen it play out historically. Go ahead, Deontay. I'm sorry.
no, you're good, man. I'm just gonna probably say, yep, you're exactly correct on that. And then you talking about how we gonna um basically how we gonna prevent jealousy. It's like no, it's like the people who are jealous can kiss our whole asses. Like I don't care about that. But if you ever try to threaten the fucking state, you're gonna find out we can be pretty rough. Like
Yeah.
no, don't do that. It's just the point I touched on earlier with them overthrowing Liberia the way they did. Like no, having a secure state is important. It means having a military that's going to be trained to actually help protect the state and help people and not brutalize them with impunity.
And let me ask you something, Deontay. Like
Sure.
a person who has a class mentality. I won't mention no names, but people who have this class mentality. Why would you go to Liberia of all places with a class mentality? Isn't that the reason why that whole thing happened in the first fucking place?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes no goddamn sense.
Yeah. It's like how you gonna dump on poor black people and go to a country that's filled with poor black people? Like I don't get that. And then
You want to go and set up shop in somebody else's, because that's how you're viewing it. You're viewing it as somebody else's nation, and you just want to have you a gated community in it. Good luck with that. I mean, look at it around the neighborhood. If y'all been in the hood, what do you think happens when you come and set up shop in somebody else's hood selling weight? I mean, that's a no-brainer.
All right.
Like that. Yeah, like that's just crazy. A gated community. You might as well stay your ass right here.
Yeah. I mean, there's places in America that have gun laws where they have what they call constitutional carry. One of my friends just moved to like one of those states where they don't have any restrictions on gun rights or whatever. You got property, the land is pretty cheap. You can go and live there. I mean, you ain't gonna have many black people there, but you can have a house and be around white people.
You might as well come right on down here to West Virginia because that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Now you open carry down this motherfucker. Well, I think it's concealing carry, but yeah, you can walk around. According to the way that they write their laws down here, you pretty much can walk around with a bazooka on your shoulder. They're not going to say very much.
Oh wow!
Right.
So it's a redneck state.
So there are places you can go. So I don't. Like I said, if you're going to be in this country, I think the best strategy for everybody that wants to be in America is to be an American and promote Americanism over everything. Who gives a shit where you came from? What difference does it make? Because if it made a difference, you still be there.
Right.
So obviously you came here because there's something about this country that you consider special and unique. So then just be Americans. That's why white people should be. I'm not mad at conservatives per se, because white people should be conservatives. It makes no sense for them to be liberals.
Yeah.
This is their country. This is their power structure. Wouldn't it make sense that you want to conserve your power? That's why when you look at it from a nationalist perspective, you don't have all of these hangups that these woke motherfuckers have. Because they're delusional. They don't understand power. They don't understand nation. They don't understand economies. They don't understand none of this shit. All they are is just pissed off because white people don't treat them right.
Yeah.
Really? You sound like a fucking baby. Like that's your issue? White people treating you? Why? I don't give a shit about that. I don't expect good treatment from white people. I expect white people to be white people and do what white people do. Why does that piss you off? Why does that bother you? It's like being bothered by a snake biting.
Like, yeah, you tried to pick up the copperhead. Now you're
And
mad
this is
because he
this is the
poisoned you.
core of your ideology. This is the core of your ideology. Confronting white racism. We're gonna tell white people just how we feel about this and da 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 da
Yes,
da. Really, nigga?
yes,
That's your
yes,
ideology.
yes, big bro. No, for real, yes. And that goes back to what I was saying, that this is what they created. They created this mindset. Like straight up. America created this Negro. Believe that, because on one hand you'll say white people are bad, white people are bad, white people are bad. Then on the very next hand you'll say, I do not want to get away from white people. I do not want to get away from white people. I do not want to get away from white people.
Oh,
Think
let
about
me
that.
address. I want to address the Key Swahili Worldwide's question. He said the question was specifically about the family in Africa, not whites or America. Oh, okay. That's. I'll answer that then. When you go to let's say Liberia, I won't be abstract. We go to Liberia, and every house has running water and electricity and gas. Roads and highways are built. We have a good traffic system, so it's not no log jams. We have a great waste management system. Who's going to be mad and jealous when you're benefiting from that? So the answer to me is, if you're in Liberia, all Liberians benefit from your presence there. Not just you, not just your African American contingency. Everybody that's in the country benefits from your presence. The level of living goes up for the entire country, not just you and your little demographic. And I think that that's the best way, because then that way you're not going to get so much pushback when people are getting, first of all, the ability to work. But like you said, Umoja, most people just want a good job, a car, a house, and the ability to go on vacation.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, because I was about to jump in and say that. It's like, and if these people are working and making their money, nobody's gonna be thinking about that. They're gonna be too busy working and paying their fucking bills and shit.
Right.
So who
Making an
cares?
economy thriving. You know what I'm saying? A
Yeah.
thriving economy, a living wage tied to productivity and cost of living.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we always use relationship analogies because everybody can identify with it. But it's like black people black people are the battered spouse, and the husband is America. And what the husband is doing, this the kind of abuser that, like, he controls all the finances, he controls where all of the business and everything else. So then the abused, the victim, sits there like, I want to get away, but I can't, because they control everything and all this other stuff, and I can't get away because they and we just seem to be okay with being there, though. We seem to be okay with being a battered spouse race. We really do. We really do. Sometimes we might have a it's the fact, like, I was in a group chat with the brothers who I'm with, and I was telling them, I was like, yes, as individuals, we have mastered just about every aspect of American culture, whether it's work, whether it's school, whether it's family life. Black people have mastered every aspects of it as individuals. Collectively, though, we still getting our ass handed to us like we was 500 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. I'm talking about when I did the paper, when I just wrote the little piece about Juneteenth, and it was like, yes, one of the first governors or something was in like 1868 or something. You understand? These people been doing this shit for years, man. They
Mm-hmm.
know, and they've been doing the same tricks on us. All we got to do is give these niggas emotional security, and they're fine. Make these niggas feel good, and they're our slaves forever. And when you break this stuff down, people will nod their head like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, but what are we okay with this though? We just gonna get the information, ingest the information, understand it, and then just, okay, well, I guess that's just the way it is. That shit
Yeah,
is
we're
crazy.
gonna we're gonna use it to be deep, and we're gonna use it to get pussy.
That shit is crazy to me, man. Straight up.
That's what we're gonna use it for. We're gonna use it to be deep and get pussy.
Yep.
So you can be Malcolm X to high school chicks.
Ew. Oh shit.
He telling the truth though.
he ain't lying.
He ain't lying. And this is the cold part about it though. This the cold part about it is that shit. I remember when I first like came into the like community of consciousness where I'm at, like conscious, because what it is it shows that you fire, passion, and leadership. And most women like those qualities in a man. Most women like that qualities in a man, and they will throw you some pussy. That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's just a fact. And
Yeah.
then people say, hey, I can get more pussy than I can progress. I can get more pussy than I can progress, so I'm gonna just go ahead and just keep on getting some cut up. Cold game, man.
Yo, what's up, Ronan?
Yo,
How's it going, bro?
I'm all right, chilling. How's everybody?
What's up, Rona?
Good.
Just chilling,
Fuck.
sitting at home.
Oh
Let
yeah.
it be your voice.
Check this out. Check this out, y'all. This Rudy hit it on the nail on the head. Hollab, do you feel the animosity and inter-ethnic conflict within African countries are largely based on inability and neglect of the associated governments not putting in place quality infrastructure? Hell yes. And we're going to get an opportunity to see what Uganda does with this $12 trillion worth of gold. Let's see what they do for their infrastructure and their people with this huge influx of money that they got coming. I know those politicians have got their baby oil and they hot rag out after they found out about that $12 trillion worth of gold.
Oh, they
Them
not the
people
only ones.
people
you know?
ain't gonna get shit.
Yeah, they ain't the only ones. You know, them devils overseas. You know, the UK is still controlling that country alongside the United States. The president of Uganda is an open coon. Like, he don't care. He's told his people he answers to the United States. He don't care. He knows he has a military under his thumb. He's an asshole. And I've
That
heard him
nigga
say
needs an
that.
intervention.
Yeah, no, he need. I don't say publicly right now what he needs, but he need. Yeah, he need. They already know. We've had these talks in private.
Uganda needs an intervention. That's all I can say.
Yeah, he need to be gone. That's what he needs to be. But yeah.
Because if that's your position, you openly state that. He openly states that. Oh yeah, intervention.
Not only did he not the only African president that's done it. The one in Zimbabwe has done that too.
Let's free his mind
from his body. Yeah.
You know,
from his body.
I personally think, y'all, that the laymen are the person who's not really know a lot about Africa or nationhood to really appreciate the fact that we just don't paint Africa with these rose colors. So we say the truth about it. We don't agree with a lot. I'm talking about the majority of African leadership we despise. Let's be clear about that. We don't think that Africa is just like made. We know that Africa is made ready for us to do what we need to do, but we're not saying that it's just gonna be like heal the world, make it a better place. No. No, it's some shit that needs to happen. It's some feathers that needs to be ruffled in Africa. Let's be very clear about that, y'all. Very clear about that.
Got a BAIL singer. All right, Emoji.
Dr. Mumby said Uganda already gave the gold mining contracts to China.
Listen,
fucking-vention, dude. There's no other solution to the problem except the intervention.
Let me break this down to y'all. Let me break this down to y'all. So recently I learned that on my dad's side, I'm 100% Gabonese, right? So I immediately go and look up Gabon. Don't you know that these motherfuckers then showed the majority of their forestry to Asia and Europe? Do y'all know what that means? Do y'all know how much money from the people that they just gave away by selling the rights to their forestry? And do you know that by doing that also, they have Chinese people and European people in the forestry that belongs to the people that will kill you if you go in there trying to use that land. If you try to get a tree to make a fire, if you're trying to go and build a hut, yes, that's what they did in Gabon. Like almost 100% of their forestry, though, y'all. Y'all not hearing me. This is what leadership brings you.
Intervention.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
solution is simple: intervention.
It's so simple. It's so, and this is another thing. Like when like people say, well, what about when y'all come? What about the Africans and the families that's already there? They're gonna, once they listen to us and once they see exactly what we want to do, there'll be a damn fool to say, nah, we don't want that. We
No,
don't
the
want
people are on our side.
exactly.
There's no the only way the people can be against us is the people don't want any modern infrastructure. They don't want no running water. They want no electricity. They don't want no roads and highways. They want to, like, you live basically like 20 minutes away from the capital, but you got to take a 2-hour ride to get there. They want all of that shit. No, impossible. It's impossible. The people are going to be on our side, because the government ain't doing shit for you. Let's see what the Ugandan government does for the Ugandan people. Because if this is true, I'm just reading what they say. I haven't researched this, but he says Dr. Mombi says Uganda already gave the gold mining contract to China. I don't know if that's true or not. I have to look it up.
Yeah, and even if they did, okay, what is China doing with it? Is it going to benefit the country? Because some of these, I'm not saying that China is perfect, but for some of these deals they have, like for example, when me and Emoja was in Tanzania, we heard that some of the contracts they had, they were just basically saying, okay, well, we know Tanzania has diamonds and they have natural gas and some other really good resources. They also have a decent stock of gold of their own. So what they did was they told Tanzania, okay, well, you give us X amount of resources, you don't have to worry about the land or paying for the project. We'll build whatever you want. But instead of somebody saying they're going to take the land, we'll just ask them for some resources. Some of these deals are not very harmful to most African countries. Some of these deals, however, actually are. So we shouldn't freak out that just because they gave the gold contracts to China, we're trying to figure out what is China doing for them in return. Are they going to build roads? Are they going to help them, train their teachers to better educate the students in their country so those students can grow up and start and do something for their country? Like, what is China giving back in return? I'm trying not to freak out about it because I know a lot of this whole China's recolonizing Africa is a Western propaganda
Yeah.
tool that they're using to attack China with. Because a lot of these African countries, I'm still going to hold. I know we've heard about the dumb shit that they've done. The vast majority of all these leaders, especially when it comes to these foreign deals. But the one thing I will say is that if it is too bad, like what we also have seen in Tanzania, when China did try to pull some funny shit, when they talked about when Tanzania couldn't afford to pay back one of the loans, they were going to control some land over there for 99 years or whatever the fuck. Tanzania told them, no, get the fuck out. We're not signing that.
Yo,
So,
Deontay,
yeah,
I hate to interrupt you, but I want to get this thought out while it's in my head.
go ahead, bro.
The whole thing about China taking over in Africa is totally disingenuous by everybody who brings it up. And the reason why I say that is because when I did the research, before I did the research on it, I was under the impression that China would just purchase in African countries. It's just outright. Because that's the way that they presented it.
Yeah.
When I looked into the debt, the average debt that these African countries owe to China is about $6 to $8 billion. If the people in America are so fucking concerned about the Africa being indebted to the Chinese, we could purchase that debt. That's a $6 billion. That's like fucking
that's chump change.
Bubblegum change for a nation. They're not in any huge debt to the Chinese. And if you are so concerned about it, how about starting an African American fund where you could purchase that debt outright?
Yeah.
And then it gives you some negotiation power. Say, or if you go, let's say you go to Kenya, and they have an $8 billion debt to the Chinese. You go to Kenya and say, listen, that debt that you have to the Chinese, don't worry about it. We got it. What are you going to give us in return? Yeah. What do we get out of paying you, absolving you from the debt to China? How does that benefit us? Now you got some negotiation. You got some talking points, some room. That's why I say it's just complete bullshit. What people is doing is it's like what a lot of these chicks online do. They like hearing vibrations coming out of their mouth. What they're saying don't really mean anything. Just their ability to talk is what they're getting off on. Like I said, nobody's really having no real conversations besides us. Period. Point blank. End of story. And if there is somebody that's having these real conversations, how come nobody has referred them to me yet?
Yeah.
I keep hearing about, oh, you need to get with this one. You need to get with that one. What are they talking about? Nobody's referred anybody to me that's having the same conversations that we're having.
Bro, every time somebody send a video to me or something, and some people, what they usually doing is just talking about the problems, talking about the problems, and they always have some crazy name like Hotep him or Senior Hotep or something crazy like that, and they never talking about what we need to do. They never talk about what we need to do. They just talk about how these people is fake, and how white people are bad. Never about the damn.
Like I said, vibrations coming out of the mouth. The throat is vibrating, word coming out of it, and that's what they're getting off on. The words themselves don't mean anything. The topics of conversations are pointless. It's roads to nowhere. Nobody's talking about anything that's relevant except us.
And that's where
We've had conversations on this phone talking about specifically who other than us has a conversation about Liberian traffic? Who? How to make the traffic so that it flows in the country? Who's doing that? Like I said, I would love to connect with people who's actually having some real conversations, but nobody's doing it. All people are talking about is the white man. Basically, the white man is Thanos. He's the one above all, the beyonder. That's all. That's all I'm really hearing.
Yeah, and you know what the funny part about that is?
Adrian versus
Watch out
you
for the
can't
white
win.
man.
You seen him. You seen how strong he is. You can't win. That's all I'm hearing.
Yeah, and you know the funny part is about that? Last time I checked, Thanos was defeated, even with the gauntlet. Even with the gauntlet. Like, no, nobody's invincible. That's what that proves.
Thanos
Everybody
ain't even the strongest one in the Marvel universe.
No, he's not.
Not even close to it.
No, even with the gauntlet. Yeah, like
right.
So, you know, it's like, no, everybody has a weakness. But more on to the point, it's like, yeah, back to the whole China thing, because that's a subject we really do need to touch on. It's like, no, China is not calling taking over fucking anything. That's number one, first and foremost. Yes, there are some African countries that really do need help, that also understand that it's not going to come from the West. Yes, these governments are corrupt. And yes, there's some corruption in that Chinese deal. We've all seen the videos. We've heard the stories. We've seen it. We know that.
Yo, Deontay, I know you know this term.
Yeah.
But let's throw this term out so that people can do their research on it. Because anybody that's a nationalist, and if you understand this term, you understand exactly what China's doing. 2 words: strategic positioning.
Right.
Just leave it at that.
Yeah. And again, it's just like, okay, China's basically saying, okay, if you give me X amount of resources, then we'll build roads, we'll build power plants, we'll build bridges, we'll build electric grids, whatever y'all need. But give me, let's say, which for any African country is a small amount. Let's say give me $100 million worth of diamonds. Just an example. Maybe some gold, a little bit of crude oil samples, anything they need. Anything they need, just give me a little bit of that, $100 million worth, and we'll build whatever you want. Roads,
because they have it in abundance, so they don't really care.
Yeah, so give me roads, bridges, anything you need, we'll take it. Just give me some resources, and that's the deal.
I mean, especially considering the fact that you don't want to do it yourself,
right?
Because if you were doing it yourself, or maybe having some skills transfer where you had people over that could transfer those skills to your people so your people can do it themselves, then I can understand the argument. But I don't, like you said, Deontay, I don't see what the problem is. If they're giving you something and getting something in return, that's called a deal.
They're just trying to maintain their base of power. I mean, that's what China's doing. Look what they've done. They haven't done anything. They haven't dropped a bomb. They haven't invaded the country. They haven't done any of that. They just done it through technology and economics. So if they go to one of these African,
you wrote it. You're talking about people who developed the art of war, who've been engaged in warfare since ancient times,
5,000 years.
And these are the people I'm going to bet against them, against a country that just started in 1776.
No, look at the devastation that they suffered during what they call the Great War, just at the hands of the Japanese, and look where they are right now. They surpassed the Japanese.
Yeah.
So what Deontay was saying, what everyone else was saying, this is all Western propaganda um, to throw against China because basically they're kicking America's ass and they're not invading countries, they're not killing people, they're not torturing people, they're just using technology and economics.
Yep.
If you like Deontay was saying before, and like you said, and everyone else has said, what is the I follow Europe, I'm not European news, world news. I haven't heard anything that China's running out of space, so they want to colonize Africa. That's not the case. What's the point? If you don't have a business partner, how are you going to do business? So, you have these African leaders who are completely out of their mind. They're just westernized. They think just like black folks over here. They're in love with white people and European, what the Europeans do, and they throw their people under the bus. Chinese are doing something completely different.
And if you're gonna have an ally, a good two allies to have is China and Russia.
Yeah, and it's like what these young journalists we were literally just talking about yesterday, who actually do journalism, have even reported on that subject. It's like, no, right now, as of right now, I'm not saying what could happen 10, 15, 20 years into the future, but right now, China and Russia are actually building schools, roads, bridges, and power grids in countries that the US used to control and prop up dictators or bomb them. They're doing it in Iraq right now, and they're not trying to lord over these people. They're just saying, okay, you got something I want, I got something you want. The deal is you give me some diamonds and oil and let me, tap into some of the unharvested wheat fields that you guys have in Africa and some of these untoured, these these oil plants, these oil fields that you guys are clearly not really using. And I'm gonna build roads, bridges, and provide jobs and all this other good stuff. That's what they're saying.
It's called
That's
a
the
deal.
deal. That's the
It's a
deal.
deal. And if you don't like the deal, come up with a better one.
Even discussion we're having right now, and y'all was talking about this earlier. Look at the mindset. The mindset is completely different than what we deal with every day amongst other black folks. Like Emoji was saying earlier, black folks are focused on silly nonsense or this or that or this other nonsense. 496 years of the morals, the moral compass of America is just forced down your throat. The 496 years of mental subjugation right here in America, and you constantly thinking, well, there's something romantic about struggling, fighting the oppressor, and all this other nonsense when you're getting curb stomped. There's nothing romantic about it. There's no, me and Holly, we talked about this before. You got two choices. You want to be able to breathe freely or struggle to breathe. No one wants to choose to struggle to breathe. Why should you choose to struggle here in this country where you have options, a whole open canvas? You can build the canvas is yours. You can paint your own picture and not have to follow, the color by numbers, because that's what this is. And black folks can't seem. I don't understand. Well, actually, I do because I just said it, but this constant nonsense, voting, this, that, blah, 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 blah. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. And even on
Yeah.
past shows, Japari was talking about it, that people using these old game plans. I played football. I know that if I go on the football field, all right, this is a game plan we run today. What we run? Oh, we don't run the wishbone. What? The
Yeah.
wishbone? We in the 21st century. This ain't 1924. Why are we running the wishbone? What are we gonna do on defense? Oh, we're gonna put 8 men up in the box and just have what, 3 people in the back? Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, that's a brilliant defensive plan. How far are you gonna drop the guys back? About 5 yards. Oh, they'll just run 10 yards past the zone and everyone will be wide open. You got 3 guys to stop, 4 guys running through the middle of the field. Just silly nonsense. Oh, you got to vote. This is that. We got to do this. Just stop. Just stop. It's tiring. It's old. Do something different.
Yo,
This
Ronan,
is
do you want to address that question Baruti put up?
was this yeah, what, in a nutshell, I just make it simple. What Kagami is doing is what you should be doing. It's playing. We did that show on infrastructure in Liberia. If you want to make people just happy, you want to make people miserable, give them one road in and out to go in one place, and it takes 3, 4, 5, 6 hours to get here and there. You're gonna have a lot of pissed off people. But if you make a main roadway, a highway, and build roads off of that, and you got all these different access ways to get here, there, all these different places, it makes being freely to go to stores, restaurants, this, all the stuff like that. That makes it easier, and people look like, oh, instead of me taking me an hour to go half a mile to get some bananas and milk, it only takes me 5 minutes. Then you throw in the subway system, mass transit, you do all these different things. You can even put in pedestrian bike lanes, whatever you have to do, ease the traffic and make it easier for people to get around and get what they need to have. Have an updated electrical grid. Have access to, a proper sewage system. All these things, these are simple things that other countries do. All you got to do is go on YouTube and watch engineering shows or channels about what Norway's doing or what these other Nordic countries are doing. They're lapping the United States, and these are white folks lapping the United States. It's laughable. Even the damn prison system is that's like they're like a whole. They actually rehabilitate people.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. Like even their what you call them, the ones they're serial killers, like the people that usually would get like death row. No, they try to rehabilitate them. Like, no, you'll get 10 years. I think in one country was like the longest sentence. Yeah. Like they're not treating you like a criminal. Like they're trying to get you some help so you can be a properly adjusted person in society. And if it doesn't work, they'll just keep you for 10 more years.
Yeah, infrastructure is a key for making people. Holland lives in, we're from the East Coast, so Holland lives in New York. I'm here in not in Jersey now. I'm down here in Gotham City, aka Philadelphia. But
oh shit,
you go. Yeah, that's another. Yeah, I'll do the live stream. No, not the live stream, but Discord about that. But you go to the Holland Tunnel. When I went out, was it April? We met April Holland when we had that dinner.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you get to the Holland Tunnel. It was like pre-pandemic. You get there, it took me 30, 40 minutes to get to the Holland Tunnel. Once I got to the tunnel, I'm sitting there. It was like before, like the pandemic never happened. Everything's merged into these lanes, and then I'm like, I'm not going this way. I'll go the other way. So I go a different way, go to the Holland Tunnel. New York has got all this stuff. They're building upward, upward, upward. They're copying what China's doing. They're building these skyscrapers in Manhattan, going up higher, higher, and higher. These skyscrapers they have in China where they'll have is 30 stories, half of it's 30 stories. They got this huge park in the middle of it, this recreation area and stores and shops and like that. And they got another 30 stories on top of that. So they got parks, recreational areas, all this within a skyscraper. So they're building up. But you look at the infrastructure, New York would be a lot happier place. If you look at the subway systems in some of these European countries, it's like Blade Runner compared to is a whole nother level advancement than what you have in New York City. I don't want to ride the subway in New Jersey. I mean, public transit in New Jersey, let alone in New York. They got bullet trains, for God's sake. You ain't got bullet trains here in the United States. You figure my sister, she's an administrative assistant. She could get jobs where she could be making $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 a year in other parts of the country. Washington, D.C., North Carolina, places like that. They don't have bullet trains. She'd be forced to move to North Carolina. You got a bullet train. What? You can go from Jersey to North Carolina in what? An hour, 45 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
But then the idiocy of the United States, they don't want to create competition. They just want to monopolize certain things. Because if you got bullet trains, those plane ticket prices drop.
You know what else it affects? It affects hiring practices. Because if I live in New York, it's not out of bounds. If we have like what they call the bullet trains, or what's the other train, the maglev and the rest of those, where you can go huge distances in minutes or an hour or something like that, then if you live in New York, you can work in California and vice versa.
You can work in New York and live in Atlanta. The house that I have here in Pennsylvania, in Georgia, what I pay for my house here in Georgia, that's a 5-bedroom house,
right?
6-bedroom house, and the house I paid, you talking the high 2s, low 3s. You talking 4 or 5 bedrooms in Georgia.
Yeah,
yeah, that's how they are right here. Yeah, that's how they are in West Virginia. Them same kind of houses will cost you about $500,000 or more in Maryland or Virginia. So
They don't. Yeah, they don't. This place, the Moja said it. I've heard Deontay say it. I've heard Hollop say it. I've heard Underrated say it. And when he's in his lucid state, we run out of time.
What the hell? Hold up.
I was
Hold
waiting for
up.
that. I didn't think I thought
I
I was
want my
gonna
money, man. Come on, man. What the?
laugh.
What you mean in my lucid state? You
You know
and
exactly
emoji.
what I mean, Negro. I was gonna say something silly sooner or later.
I'll quit.
It's like,
Lobster mac and cheese. You'll say something like that with bacon bits on it, something like that. You know.
Can't stand this, man. Let me take off this shirt. I don't want this BS.
You know, it's just we're in a state, man. Like I don't think people. It's like like I play sports, man. There's no worse feeling being in a game. Like you cut the score down, you score, and now you're like, oh, all we gotta do is get the ball back, and you don't have any timeouts left. You just watch them kneel, taking knees. That's a
Yeah.
horrible feeling.
Yeah.
That's
Just
what it
running
is.
out the clock.
Like damn,
Running out
cut.
the clock.
And black folks like moral victories. I played football. I played basketball. I hate moral victories. Coaches tell me like, oh well, we did this. This is I'm like, I don't give a rat's ass about any of that. We should have won.
yeah.
We got to do
Moral
this better.
victory.
Nah, no, we need to get stops. Not late in the game, like stops early. You need to build up a lead and crush our opponent per se. And I ain't talking this. And anyone who's think this is not going to war with white folks. I'm just looking from a sports analogy. I'd rather be playing from ahead than being from behind and hoping my defense gets stops.
Yeah.
Yeah. People need to read The Art of War and the 32 Strategies of War to understand that war is the study of conflict. It's not about physical. When you look at those books, the physical warfare is the last resort.
Right.
When you see people fighting, that's the last resort. Warfare and conflict is from, like the Art of War said that a properly trained military can defeat an opponent without firing a weapon.
Yeah.
And I never understood what that meant. But what it means now I understand it. What it means is that if you're not organized, you ain't even going to be in a position to fight us. That's what it means. It means that we don't have to fire any weapons. We will sit there and watch you self-implode because you're not organized. You're never going to form a united front to go up against an enemy because there's so much dissension amongst you. This is not rocket science.
Yeah, I think as a people, we using these ancient texts, like we going back, like, you could get people who will read The Destruction of Black Civilization. And that's a good starting point to understand what has happened to our people. But you need to learn other tactics in order for you to move forward. Umoja, I work out, not at the level that Umoja does, but I work out consistently. I study martial arts. I do stuff like that. I learn different art forms from different, I've learned Northern Shaolin. I learned JKD. I learned Muay Thai. I learned this. I learned different art forms from different people to make me more efficient as a combatant. I learned how to use knives and swords. I learned how to shoot guns, all this different stuff to make me more efficient. I'm learning from anyone. So we have to learn tactics in order for us. And evidently, the American Negro, because I'm taking the African from the front of American. Because if you thinking like an American, you're not an African.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. If Joe Biden is your grandpa, your venerable, loving grandfather, then you American. You ain't no African. Period. You're not thinking about Africa. You can't sit here, black folks here in America they get real happy. They see the Black Panther movie and stuff like that. I'm African. Yeah, for 2.5 hours you are. You come back out, you're an American. You're not willing to learn anything. People got this thing, this stigma about the Chinese. The Chinese, this stuff like that. They're making moves. We should be making moves. Go into any hood and you'll see the moves that they're making. I'm not mad at them. You got your black politicians, let them right in there. You want to open up a shop? Open up a shop. You can't go into, you can't, Harlem knows it. He lives right there in New York. I know it. You're not opening up no barbecue. Black folks are not opening up no barbecue place in Chinatown. They'll open up a barbecue place in Chinatown run by Chinese people. You ain't doing that. Keep playing diversity. Oh, we gotta have diversity, and it's gotta be multiple cultures, all the nonsense. And I tell people it's simple, man. People get at me like, I don't like the way that you're approaching this. A good friend of mine was like, well, we gotta be multicultural, stuff like that. I was like, oh, diversity. I was like, let me ask you, and it's simple, man. I was like, yo, I was like, you like Chinese food? He's like, yeah. I was like, when you go to a sit-down Chinese restaurant, the maitre d' who serves you, he's Chinese. The waiter or waitress, she's Chinese. The people preparing your food, they're Chinese. Where they order that paper from, probably from some Chinese. Who it's all Chinese. You're not even thinking that. You know what? I'm in a Chinese restaurant and there's not enough black people here. But you go to a black-owned restaurant, you'll sit down. The maitre d's black. Your waiter's white. The chef is white. He's cooking collard greens and catfish, whatever, all this other nonsense. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
I got to meet the chef. He's white, and he's talking about all this. You're not thinking like, you know what? I'm in a black restaurant, but the maitre d's black. The guy who owns it, he's white. The bands they got there, they're black. You got the cook who's white. This one's that. You got all this multicultural. You're not even thinking that, you know what, I'm in a black owned, it's not even a black owned establishment. It's just a black restaurant with black folks in it.
And we don't
Yeah.
even question the Chinese.
Nope.
No.
There is no diversity in a Chinese restaurant. We do not question it. Nobody would even think to question it.
No. Black folks love mob movies. There's no diversity in the mafia. It's all Italians. But you got knuckleheads running around. They love. I had a friend. He was in that life. He loved mafia movies. He loved them. And I used to tell him we was teenagers. Like, yo, man, the one thing I noticed. He's like, what? What'd you notice? There's no black folks in this movie. None. I was like, so you emulating this, and you emulating the worst aspects of that culture per se. I was like, and that's what they did to survive here. Criminal getting engaged in criminal activity, and they went on. They made it bigger. They started, with the unions, and then buying all politicians, stuff like that. Black folk, we talked about this before. Black criminals ain't even doing that. Not even doing that.
Yeah, I would actually have some respect for these black criminals if they modeled themselves after the mafia.
Nah.
Mafia didn't have that shit going on in their own community. They didn't have a bunch of drug addicts and people sleeping and nodding off on the corner.
They didn't even sell drugs up until the
Right.
60s.
I mean, you're not even good at crime. You're not even good at crime.
Good at
I mean, isn't that supposed to be their shit? Everybody's a gangster. Everybody's a thug. You're not even good at that.
Game over champs.
See, there it is. He just did it.
God damn it.
BLT.
I mean, these are. I mean, we all work, man. We all work. And if anyone who's not part of BIO and they're listeners, just think about that. We're just average, quote unquote, average everyday people. I do traffic counts, man, for the state of New Jersey, man. We talk about infrastructure, man. We talk about engineering. We're talking about rebuilding a place that was founded by ancestors. From here, they bounced. They left here and went over and established Liberia. If you got pride in Juneteenth, your pride should be overwhelming. Should double that. Be off the charts when you think about that. Wait, you got black folks who left here and started a nation state in Africa? If Juneteenth is like, your NBA finals, like you a Warriors fan, and that's you all glue, you dream about that. Yeah, I know. But you should be, you should be in tears of joy of seeing something like that. In a time you're talking about over, come on, almost 200 years ago. I mean, goddamn. I mean, that is incredible. And Juneteenth. You should be thinking about, Liberia. That is something that I take great pride and joy in. That I'm proud of that. More than Juneteenth, more than the first black president, stuff like that. All these people who've done all these things, they haven't done it for the benefit of Africa. They've done it for the benefit of the United States. They've done things that end up getting black folks killed in other parts of the world. other people's quote unquote people of color, gotten them killed, destroyed countries. And y'all want to be proud of that?
So
Lloyd
you want to
Austin's the
show
first
that you
Secretary of
just as
Defense.
capable. You want to show the country that you're just as capable of maintaining white supremacy as everybody else is.
Exactly.
Basically, oh, I can be an oppressor too. Don't judge me just because of the color of my skin. I can kill black people as well.
We man, I just like I said, I take when I hear Deontay because Deontay's younger than us, um, and Jabari and Moja and other members
Oh
of the group who are
shit.
younger than us, and you underrated when you're lucid, when you're on your meds.
I'll leave
You
this
know,
live stream.
see that there's hope. That it's not some lost generation of black folks listening to people like Joe Madison and following nonsense on Sirius XM radio or MSNBC or CNN or some other silly nonsense.
Yeah, I had to get off that train. Ooh.
That
Yeah,
me and
man.
Holliver talked about this. This place will turn you into a makeshift Moon Knight or a Punisher. You end up getting angrier and doing things that you normally wouldn't do. It will change you
Yeah, it takes you
because
out of your nature because it's like have you ever I don't know, maybe y'all can relate to this sometimes because when you come from especially like an area like New York, you can go to a Bahamas or like an island where it's just like an island paradise. You got blue water and white sand and whatever. And it takes a while for you to get relaxed because you still in confrontation mode. You still expecting somebody to look at you wrong. You still expecting something to pop off at any moment. It takes a while for you to leave all that bullshit behind you
Mm-hmm.
and actually enjoy the place that you're at.
you're always in warrior mode.
Yeah. I
Always.
mean, that's it's crazy, man.
This is what this place does to you.
Oh
It- it-
yeah, yeah. It'll give you the tools to kill yourself. That's what it's doing.
I walk around here, and I have, I could talk to, usually I talk to Hala a lot when I'm driving home from work. I'm driving home, we talk, chop it up and stuff like that. And I have things that keeps me calm. My sister, fiance, my daughter, my stepson, whatever. I have, my family, BIL. That keeps me, you know, just level. And then outside stuff that's not really important, football, basketball, kung fu flick, whatever, whatever it is, that keep me calm. But if I'm separated from that for too long, then it starts. I got this edge on me, just feeling like, what, uh, I'm starting to feel antsy. I'm looking at people funny.
Yep. Yep.
You know, um, just recently within the last like 5 to 10 years, like I see other black folks in stores. Like I say, how you doing? Or I give them the do nod, stuff like that. Sometimes they look at me just like Howard said, just told me a story before when he was down there with his brother. When the sister said good morning to him, he didn't know what to say. You
Yeah,
know,
she caught me off guard. I was like, I had to apologize. I'm like, I'm just not used to that. Not used to it. And me and Ronan are such New Yorkers. If we're on a plane, the plane they don't even have to make an announcement to let us know we're over New York.
just know you feel it,
Yep.
that energy just permeating like ah. That's what I did. I was like I'm back.
Yep.
It's even
I
worse
know
down here in Gotham.
immediately.
Yeah, when I went to Florida and I came back to here, Gotham, near Gotham City, I knew it. I could feel it. Like, here we are. This place makes me sick.
Mm.
you know, I'm looking forward to getting away, after September, looking to go. I don't know where I'm going.
You sound
Well,
like me.
I can make a suggestion. Go somewhere where there's white sand and blue water. Where you can
Yeah,
lay out on the beach.
Ooh.
Go somewhere like that. I don't know where. Like there's a few options, but make that one of them.
yeah, we're looking at something with going through sandals or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I got to get out of here. I got
Yeah.
to.
And you
I
got to go. Like I remember when I would go like on those vacations, my morning was get up in the morning, and from the morning time to noon, I'm on the beach. That's where I'm at. And then after that, all right, what we doing afterwards? But I would get my rest and relaxation out of the way right in the morning.
Go someplace where I don't see thousands of cars. I'm counting traffic and looking at numbers. That's what I do that, but I don't. I spend my Fridays or Thursday nights I going through traffic data, like look at this road. And it starts tomorrow. I'm like, here we go again, the silly nonsense. I'm looking forward to after September, just going someplace, probably October, November, December, whatever. And be like, you know what? I earned it. I haven't had a vacation since my daughter was 7. Like a real vacation.
Yeah, you got to get out of here. You got to get out of here. Because I told people, if you're in New York for more than a year without going anywhere, you are clinically insane.
Oh, thank God. Yes.
You can literally be checked into an institution because your meter is off in terms of what normal is. Because New York is not fucking normal. So when you stay here for like a year or two without going anywhere, behavior in New York, you start thinking is behavior everywhere. And that's why I said when I would go to the South, it's like I would have old white men and women like, hey, good morning. And like legitimately, not no bullshit. But it's like you're so used to this shit here, you're like, oh shit. Like, oh, what is there a cop around? What they trying to do? It's like you paranoid about everything because that's the soup that you swim in when you're here.
Yeah, I just look. I think the joy. Like, I remember when y'all did the Rwanda trip, and you got back. How you called me? He was telling me about it, man. And I saw the pictures, man. I felt so happy, and I wasn't even there.
Yeah,
I saw the pictures with Deontay and Umoja when they was over with Tanzania. I was happy. I was happy for them, and I was happy because, as you said before, all the naysayers. You got people on the continent there, from here, going over there and living their best life and enjoying it. Deontay went to Ethiopia.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, he's our Ethiopia expert. Like Jabari's our Liberia expert, he's our Ethiopia expert. Because that's where I get the news about the TPLF. I listen to see what Deontay's writing about.
Yeah.
Umoja is the king of Tanzania. Like I think he's got an official title over there.
Yeah. That's the Bantu. That's the Southern Lion right there. That's the Bantu lion. That's the king of the king of the South.
And something that Deontay said: if you are African American, and it's quotation marks around American, you need to look at yourself. You here, you making money. Think of it as you nothing more than an immigrant. The same people that these people get on the news channel talking about other immigrants, other doing stuff like that. Get your money, get you some property. If you don't want to be whatever, if you down with the BIO, Africa is the end game, Liberia. But you need an escape from this place. You cannot stay here 12 months a year. You can't. And the way that America's going, which is the empire's falling, you need an escape plan. But you need to buy property somewhere else. And you know what? You need to get out of here. You cannot think logically. Like I have a grown daughter who I'm always worried about, and I have an 11-year-old who I'm always worried about. And again, that creates that same thing I was talking about. You create this worry mentality because you're thinking like something happens to my kids, someone's going to get it. There won't be no, oh, I forgive you. Nah, you're going to get it. You need to take you need to
Yo, I'm gonna say this might be a little bit off topic, but not really. Whatever place you go to, I don't know what y'all got planned. Just make sure that whatever hotel you're in, the pool is outside of your room. Like you leave the room, go outside, and you can jump right in the pool. Make sure you got the pool, and make sure you got some white sand and blue water. You got those two things, you straight.
Blood pressure will drop.
Yep, you are straight. I love Mount Kivu. If you're gonna go to Rwanda, go to Mount Kivu. Oh my God, that was so great when we went there. We spent like 3 days there. And that's what we did. We did the fishing. Like we would go and the people would literally catch the fish out the water and cook it for us.
Oh, and I bet you that joint tasted so good.
God,
I know it did because we had a similar experience in Tanzania.
God.
God dang. The food over in Africa tastes better too. It's
And I love the
fresh.
fact that I love the fact, like, I love their transportation system. It is you know what's funny, Rona? If you went there, you would probably lose your mind because I don't know how the hell they don't have accidents.
Oh yeah, I saw an
You talking
I
about
accident
don't
the other
know.
day.
I don't
In
know how they
Rwanda?
do it. Yeah, I don't know how they do it, but they don't really have a lot of accidents. But they have, like, just the fact that we could just jump on the fucking back of a motorcycle and get to where we want to go was so cool to me.
Because maybe they don't like that's not like here. Like I don't know about the other. I know here, New York, Jersey, I don't know about Pennsylvania, but they ain't got people who drive like they're in the goddamn Indianapolis 500. They
Yeah,
going
yeah, that's
crazy.
true. That's true. But it's not really people wilding out there.
Yeah, because I think if
Everybody's
you was in
conscious.
Rwanda, I don't think someone's coming all the way from the left lane, trying to make a right turn from the farthest left lane. Like, oh, I gotta make this turn and cutting across three other lanes. No, I
Yeah.
don't think they're doing that like they do over there in Manhattan or in Jersey, North
Nah,
Jersey.
nah. That's true. It's not a lot of wild people on the roads. Like, everybody's conscious of, because there's a lot of pedestrians, a lot of different cars. So it's like everybody seems to be conscious of everything.
Yeah, because here everyone thinks they Don Toretto from the Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I don't know. Ethiopia is kind of
Yeah.
wild with their
I'm gonna
driving. I
be
saw.
personally happy for when Ronan get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna be happy. That's gonna
I
do
might
good.
be
That's gonna do wonders for me.
I might be like that dude from Harlem Nights, like Carbon Eggs. I ain't never coming back.
Yeah. Yep. Because I tell you, I had when me and my cousin stayed a week after I left because he didn't want to leave. He's like, nah, I got to stay here another week. But we literally was having that conversation. Like, why am I? I knew exact moment when I had that thought was when I was in the penthouse in Rwanda. We was in the penthouse. We was on the balcony overlooking Kigali. And I asked the guy, how much does something like this cost? He said probably like $1,000 American. And I said, what the fuck am I doing in Brooklyn?
Wait, is that per month?
Yes. Once you purchase it, whatever. Um, no more than that. Whether it's a renting or purchasing, it's no more than 1,000.
Yeah, because I
And you're
usually
talking
try.
about the equivalent of a penthouse in Manhattan overlooking the city. Now, what does that cost?
Yeah, I'm guessing. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, what the fuck am I doing here? We were just sitting back. It was nighttime, overlooking Kigali, drinking tea, and just chilling.
Yeah, the only thing if I stay, I'm like, only thing I'll be calling, like, yo, send my car over here. Make sure you, because I ain't leaving my car.
And that could be arranged.
Because all that, I'm not trying. I mean, I mean, I got, I got my crib, and it's cool. I mean, to like, normally I can't even jump on Sundays because I usually got people here.
Mhm.
Mother-in-law's here, my stepson's here. His friends are here. They're running around making all noise. I'm outside cutting the grass or doing some other stuff, so I can't even jump on. You know,
Mm.
I'm here by myself. My other half, she's down in Trinidad handling real estate business. Um, so, I'm sitting here relaxing and, just enjoying myself. And just, I was able to jump in with you guys watching it. And
Always a pleasure, brother. It's
Always,
always
fam.
good when we got you on. Yo, if y'all check the chat room, I put a link in there of the 7 modern road building technologies that should be implemented everywhere. If you could check on that, you'll see how they said that building a highway takes between, depending upon what technology you're using, about 1 to 3 years.
yeah, I got to send you this thing, Holop. I was reading about self-healing concrete.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, and also just to on that point, there's a sister, and I think she's in Nigeria. I'm not sure either Kenya or Nigeria, but she developed a brick making system out of recyclables.
Ooh.
So basically,
God,
all the old plastics and all the old reuse, she taken that and built that into a brick laying system, and the bricks last longer than traditional bricks.
yeah.
Damn.
There's a whole bunch of things that can be done in Liberia as far as technology, roadway stuff, with the roadways. Because the first thing, like I said before, the first thing you can do away with asphalt. It lasts longer. It'll be a little bit more expensive to lay down. It will last much longer than black asphalt.
Yeah.
Anyone who lives here in the United States, you drive a car, you'll always see them out there after the wintertime patching up potholes, cracks, all this other nonsense. You have to do that with white asphalt. Do that on white asphalt.
I figured you would actually save money in the long run because you don't have to do so much maintenance.
No, you will. If you look, if you travel the highways going down south, you see a lot of those highways down south. They got white asphalt. You go stretches miles and miles and miles. It's white asphalt.
Mm-hmm.
That's compared to the turnpike in New Jersey. That's all black asphalt. They're doing
Yeah.
all. It's way, 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 way cheaper in the long run because the autobahn that ain't black asphalt. That's mostly white asphalt. These are just things that like I go out and I do the traffic counts. So my main thing is to count how many cars are on a roadway. But the other thing I do is that I personally take notes of what roads, what they look like, this one, that one. Even something as simple as if you're driving your car and say it's a main stretch like Park Ave or something like New York, and all those lights turn green. It should flow easily. It shouldn't be if there's like 20 lights, they all should be green. You'll get in other places you get instance like I've been on Broad Street in Gotham City, Philadelphia. You got all these stretches of lights. You have the first two, they'll be green, then another one turns red, and then traffic is backed up. Then the next two turn green, then the next two are red. It's not a free flow, so the lights are not properly optimized. They have to be in sync. So you get this free. That's just something simple, and I take these notes when I see that. Even though I'm just doing, I get to see what the roads look like, how bad they are, the potholes, um, the shoddy workmanship that they do. Like, oh, you got this. Instead of just redoing the whole road and doing it how you're supposed to do, they just take the top layer off and just throw some more asphalt on top of it. They're not going down far enough to where the base is and sealing it down there where the dirt is. That's because that's what happens with those potholes. You get those areas, those pockets where the dirt just collapses, and then that asphalt can't maintain it, and boom, it dips down, and then you got these potholes. They're not doing. They should just take all that old asphalt. This is put asphalt on top of asphalt on top of asphalt. They should just move all of it and just lay a whole new road down. But they're too cheap. They don't want to do that. You know,
Mm.
because
And
think
that's the
about it.
great part about Liberia is that you don't have all those years and years and years of them doing that.
No,
You can start
you
off
don't.
fresh.
You can change all that. All that stuff in Liberia is easy. Like we looked at it, man. I looked at it, and you coming off of what's that, Monrovia, what's that, Harry Tubman Boulevard? That's the main road. And you come off of that, and they have like these roads. They have these lots, like I guess neighborhoods. It's a lot, and there's like 4 or 5 houses on one lot. It's not. It should be. You come off of there, you go into a neighborhood. You got each house is a lot. It's not like 3 houses on one lot. It's just one lot. So and there's no subdivisions or anything like that. It's just boom. Oh, you just got this. You know, you need to open up, have but people that have houses, that have backyards, to sit back and enjoy themselves, relax, not just cramped up on top of each other. Space it out, and a lot can be done. A lot. The advancement they're making with technology when it comes to infrastructure, roadway infrastructure, stuff like that. Yeah, there's so much stuff that can be done, and black folks don't even pay attention to it. I mean, we do, within the BIO. I mean, because Hollow post stuff on um, the BIO, what's that, infrastructure, stuff like that with technology, about the different technology they're doing in different parts of the world. You look at, like I said, you look at what they're doing in Holland and Norway and places like that. It's it's even if you live here in America, you should be asking if you voting and all this stuff like that, you should be asking like, I'm watching YouTube videos of what they're doing in Norway. Why aren't we doing it here in America? I'm voting for this shit. I mean, we know why. Ask your
Mhm.
politicians that shit. You know, you losing power when it gets up to 92 degrees and your power goes out. You know what I mean? I mean that shit happened here. I think like a week ago on my phone, man. It got up to 94 degrees. I get an alert on my phone from my alarm system, power outage. Like power outage. I'm like, shit, was it a storm or something like that? I get back here and I asked my, I was like, was that power? A storm? She's like, nah, the power just went out. I'm like, what do you mean the power just went out? Just went out. I was like, no storm, nothing, no wind, no tornado, Godzilla. I mean, what? No, she was like, because it was hot. That's in America.
Wow.
You know what's funny? It's like remember when the Haiti got decimated.
Yeah.
From a nationalist perspective, that was a golden opportunity. Golden opportunity because the place was destroyed. Which means that now when you rebuild, you can rebuild with modern technology. The rebuilding process will be a lot faster. The construction process will be a lot faster, a lot more efficient. You could have taken that and turned it into the basically the prototype for what a developed nation should be. If you were thinking like a nationalist. But instead we think like victims.
Yeah. Well, it's the American Negro. Most American Negroes have no connection. They want no connection with anyone who looks like them outside of America. Want the Caribbean, Africa, South America. They want nothing to do with black folks, Africans, and other parts of the world except here, like Haiti, like because that was a thing, man. Like you remember remember how like back in the day. I remember I'll be in high school, so we had there was a lot of people who from Haiti. I didn't care,
Mm-hmm.
and people were like, oh, I ain't no Haitian, because that was a joke. Like, oh, you acting like a Haitian. I'm like, what? I'm acting like a black person?
Like, yeah.
Like, well, they're different. How are they different? Why? Because they speak patois?
And we all in the same goddamn neighborhood.
Yeah, I was like, even in high school, I'm like, yo, man, I was like, if he goes to Mississippi, he's a nigga, just like I am. He's just a nigga that speaks patois. What aren't you talking about? This is the silliness. The American Negro. That's what he is, the American Negro, the Jesse Lee Petersons, the John Walker, Captain America Negro. You're nothing but a white man in black skin, whether you like it or not. You act like it. That whole ADOS thing, that's just white supremacist ideology. Klondike bars. Vanilla, rich, creamy, tasty vanilla ice cream wrapped inside a tasty sweet chocolate shell.
Mm-hmm.
A fake Negro with silver wrapping on it and a damn polar bear. That's what you are. A polar bear. Yeah, a polar bear, even that, because polar bear skin is black underneath that white fur. So don't love black folks. The American Negro doesn't love himself. The American Negro doesn't love black folks.
And the crazy but ironic part about it is that they claim that the African hates them when they actually hate the African.
Madness. See, there it is. That's that mentality. You think that you're making progress because you got high black faces in high places. That's the American Negroes. That's their game plan. You get they use black hyperbole, black talk, black explain, all this other nonsense, get on these airwaves and talk black. There's something I heard from this chick. I was listening to her for a minute. I was coming home on Thursday. She said something that I thought about, is that, you know what, if you actually think, if you're a nationalist, a Pan-Africanist, you should be worried about worried about Africa, stuff like that, and damn everyone else. Because this chick, basically, she gets on there and she's spicy, she talks, she curses all that, but she's a Democratic Negro. She loves the Democratic Party. She all that, but she uses black hyperbole, black talk, fake black power rhetoric. But she don't, she doesn't. She's ready to die on that hill for the Democratic Party and all this other nonsense and all this, but trying to use black power speak and all this other bullshit. And she doesn't care that people throw darts at her. That's the same mentality that we should have. Period.
Mm-hmm.
And she enjoys it. She enjoys it.
Oh man! Speaking of which, Ronan, I can't believe I didn't tell you this. Guess who? I was with Mark's cousin, right? We went to Prospect Park.
Yeah.
Guess who came up and said hello to me?
Who?
Chuck Schumer.
You gotta be kidding me.
I was like sitting there, like, wait a minute, is that Chuck Schumer? She's like, yes. I'm like, what the fuck?
For real?
Yeah, Chuck Schumer. Like, hey guys, how you doing? I'm like, oh shit.
What was he doing out there?
His wife is, I think, the head of the Parks Association or something,
Holy shit.
Oh, well, that's
which I
why they
found out
shitty.
about it. Yeah, yeah. So I just thought I couldn't believe I didn't tell you that, but yeah, I just thought about it when you was talking about the Democratic person.
Yeah. They ready to die on that hill. So everyone else who's got smoke for the BIO and stuff like that, if you don't believe in your own self preservation for your own people, then go die on that hill with all these Democratic Negroes, all this silly nonsense. Because you got children, you concerned about the fate of your people. You want if you saying Black Lives Matter here, Black Lives Matter. Black lives don't matter here in America. And in America, as far as they're concerned, Black lives don't matter abroad either. So that's all you need to know.
Yeah, they're
Man,
bombing the
you're saying.
shit. They're bombing the shit out of Somalia right now. That's the poorest country in the world. And then it makes it so fucking bad is because Somalia was literally building up their country. In a country where they didn't literally had a religion where they don't want to build anything. They had a progressive president for only a handful of years who actually turned Mogadishu from a war-torn capital to what looks like to be somewhere accountable. Of course, I'm not brave enough to go there yet, but because I don't want to spend my life as a professional hostage. But even still, it's like they were actually on the verge of trying to build something in that country.
Do you remember that movie Black Hawk Down?
Yeah, why?
Did y'all
Yeah.
see that?
Yeah.
My favorite part in that movie was when the helicopter came down and all of them started beating their ass. Oh god. And that was supposed. I guess that was a point in the movie where they thought was the tragic part. That was the best part to me. All you saw was a bunch of Africans pulling dudes out of that fucking thing and beating their ass.
Because America, the other world does not see America as their savior. America is the greatest perpetrator of violence in the world, the history of the world. Just from the end of World War II to now. Yeah, I'm just using that example. You look from the end of World War II to right now, the amount of countries that they've invaded, overthrown, interfered in their political process since people here, oh, Russia did this and that. Really? Really? You gonna make that? You gonna die on that hill with that bullshit? Considering all the stuff the United States has done, the millions of people who died because of so-called quote unquote democracy. Come on.
Listen, these are people that don't understand nationhood. They don't understand international politics. They don't understand anything. No nation. Listen, no nation is your friend. It's about mutually beneficial interests. That's it.
Convenient allies.
That's all.
Mm.
And once you understand that, it's like black people are only, like I said, the only people that fear an agenda is people that don't have one. You don't have an agenda of your own, so of course you fear everybody else's agenda because they got one. When are you going to develop your agenda?
What did you say earlier? $50,000 in a 401k.
Yeah, that's all. And that's the average person. The average person just wants a good job, a car, and the ability to go, a house, a car, the ability to go on vacation twice a year. And they're good. They're set. And the crazy part about it is that's easily obtainable in any nation. Easily attainable. Every citizen should have that. And it won't take any money out of the pockets of people who make $200 billion a year.
Nope. Laughing at that, man.
How are you going to work for Amazon and not be paid? How?
Yeah, like what is wrong with Jeff Bezos? Man?
And then what kills me is the people, when you don't pay your workers, you're putting the workers on the taxpayers because they got to get food stamps and all this other stuff. So we end up paying for the people that are part of your successful fucking company.
Exactly. Just laugh at this, man.
And I've turned people, like I've had people, because most people don't think about this shit. I've had conversations with brothers who claim, like, who are pro-capitalist and they're on the side of Bezos and don't feel this and that. And I put it to them just like that. I said, oh, so he shouldn't pay his own workers, but I should? So he just gets to get out of jail free. He can just make all kinds of profits and the people that work for him got to starve so that we, the taxpayers, can pay for them and subsidize them.
Then you made it. You got the smoke coming out the ears because they're not
Yeah,
even thinking about
they
that.
never thought about it.
And these the
That
same
never even came across their mind.
and these the same kind of niggas that a certain someone is having a live stream, but on their shit right now with.
Yeah, there's a lot of black. Like Amos Wilson said, what does a black conservative conserve?
Yeah.
The white man's power.
I understand white as if anything, this is why I'm not too mad at conservatives, because if you're a white person in America, you should be conservative. It makes sense for you to be conservative. So I'm not mad at them. I understand it because it's their fucking country.
Yeah.
The only people who got a problem with it is people that's trying to fit in and try to pretend that it's something that it's not. I think there was a movie. I think Matt Damon was in it. I forget the movie, but he said at the end, he told the guy, America is ours. You guys just live here.
Yeah, well, you ain't lying.
Because he asked him, he said, the guy, I remember the scene. The guy was saying, well, the Italians got this, the so-and-so got that. He said, what do you guys have? He said, we have America, and y'all are just visiting.
Damn.
That's what you call a real statement. Same thing in that movie Dragon with Bruce Lee's wife's mother. He said, I'm in America. Our children will be American. He said, you're not American, you're an American citizen.
That's it. He found out real quick with Bruce
Yeah.
Lee. He took his ass right over to Hong Kong.
I appreciate that level of honesty. To be honest with you, before, like when we was in that Black Power American phase or the militant integrationist phase, because trust me, we've all been through it. It ain't like I'm immune to it. I was a militant integrationist at one point. I was a Black Power American at one point. But when you're in that stage, then all of that stuff kind of upsets you, because why? It goes against the narrative of what you are pushing for. You're pushing for acceptance. You're pushing for equality. You're pushing to be accepted and treated like everybody else in this country. Once you abandon that delusion, things become so much clearer for you.
Yeah, it does. Especially when you get out that inner circle, you start seeing who real and who phony.
Yeah. It becomes so crystal clear. Like I said, when I heard Amos, that was it for me. I'm like a snowball rolling downhill ever since I heard Amos Wilson at the Blueprint for Black Power lecture. Because I understood, that was my aha moment, and I understood exactly what was going on.
That's true.
Exactly.
Because years ago I was part of a group, and there's all Black Power, this stuff like that, and how I get down. Anyone who knows, they know how, this is my mentality is, you get within arm's distance, that's an act of war. So the Klan was gonna come and march in Newark. So they was like, we're gonna go out there, we're gonna protest, but we can't react and stuff like that. And I'm like, come on. I'm like, one of those dudes gets within not even 5 feet of me, 10 feet of me, they're gonna catch it. That's not what we're about. I was like, well, that's what you're not about, but that's what I'm about. They ain't coming into Newark. They ain't doing what that shit. You think they're gonna come down here and do this and do that? Nah, man.
You know what that's the equivalent of, Ronan? That's like me asking you, yo, Ronan, let's get together and go to Burger and Lobster, but we ain't gonna eat nothing.
Yeah, just stand there and watch people eat. Mad as hell. Like, you brought me here, what, so we can sit here and watch people eat? The fuck?
Exactly. Like, so let's go to a Klan rally, but we can't do nothing. We're just gonna go there to observe. What are you, the fucking watcher? You Watu or something?
They was like, that's not their about. He was like, you gotta understand the ideology we're doing here, because this was never made clear. It's like, we following the ideology of Dr. King that, we gotta make them see. I'm like, whoa. Nah. I was like, my ideology is completely different. My ideology is like, they coming into our city talking their bullshit. They need to get their asses kicked. He was like, yo, that's not what we're about. I was like, y'all ain't about shit. All y'all want to do is sit here and drink lattes and smoke weed all day.
Oh,
and
man.
dream.
Ronan posted, well, no, not Ronan. Umoja posted a video that made my week. This white man was in a store. He talking to the brother. He said, you got all these people around here. What you gonna do, boy? What you gonna do? That nigga turned around and blasted his ass. And then he's like on the ground. Oh, come on, man. Come on. I ain't trying to be no harm. I ain't trying to hurt nobody.
A
After
lot.
he
This
get, I get his
rough.
face punched off his body.
Yeah, after that whole thing happened in that group, that was it. I got kicked out the group, and that was the end of it. They're like, yo, we don't. What they say?
Hey, wait a minute, Roland. Is that fake Black Panther group that we was a part of for like a 10, like good spit, like good 10 seconds, and then
Nah, it wasn't
I
even
think,
them.
yeah,
This
I'm
was a
about to say, because I remember we got into not we. I saw you cut, like I saw them going after you, and I like responded to it. But I remember that was like I think we brought up Nationhood, and I think what Ronan did. I think one of the dudes tried to clap back at him, tell him that just leaves you standing on some African beach with no name. I think you said the solution to something would be nationhood. And I
yeah.
think he tried to go after you and say some wild shit. I was like,
Isn't that
Always do
crazy?
that bullshit.
yeah,
You
and
going
it's
after somebody because when you say nationhood, basically this is what you're saying. Black people should have total socioeconomic and political control over their environment. That's what you're saying when you say nationhood. So for somebody to come at you for that, what do they think you should have?
They're mental
Because I
people.
always ask that question, but nobody ever gives me an answer. What is your solution to the problem?
They don't have one. All they want to do is pretend. They want to cosplay, man.
yeah, they want to be what civil rights reenactors and shit. It's
That's what
like
that is.
and then you talking some shit that Huey and them didn't even support. That was like the thing, and then they were talking about Huey was, I guess I'm paraphrasing here because I can't remember everything they were saying, but basically they were basically saying that Huey was what Huey Newton would have been Team Do It right here, even though I think he went to the continent or to Jamaica, I think it was. Like they were just saying stuff like that was just and like everything the Panthers actually stood against and saying
They
that they were for it.
they 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 have this like this revisionist history because they have this revisionist history because these people are dead now. Like they
Mm-hmm.
act like they loved these people when they were alive, and that's not the truth. Like I know how it talks about Amos Wilson that's genuine love. Like I've said this before. Like outside of my uncles, my father, and my uncles, there's probably no two men, three men I love more than Malcolm X, um,
Yeah,
Dr. Amos
Garvey.
Wilson, and John Henry Clark.
Yeah, and Garvey. I threw Garvey in there for
Garvey,
about 4.
Kwame Ture, Franz Fanon. These are all
Yeah.
people that I admired because they're talking a completely different. No, they're speaking the language that we're speaking. I understand what they're speaking. And all these people who get up here, they talk about King, they talk about X, they talk about the black. They didn't love these people when they were alive because if they
Exactly.
did, they created everyone. Holla, me, Deontay, Underrated, Salima, Spirit Lifters, Moja, Chima, Helena,
Mhm.
all the people in who part of BL. These people created us. You created us because you know what they told how can't be this. He can't. Oh, you asking these questions. You can't be that. But Rona, you
Wait,
can't do
what?
this because you ready. Yeah, I'm just saying in general. I'm just
Yeah,
using that
yeah, yeah,
generation.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
you can't. If Hollywood would go, he said it before. He would go and he's like, all right, how we come together and do this thing where we don't have to do this, this song and dance. And they looked at him like basically like he had 3 mouths in the front of his face. Or people come in and like, yo, you can't, if we go on a march, you can't, they put your hands on you. You can't defend yourself. You must be insane. Get the hell out of here. If I'm going to some protest, which I've never done, and sit there and like let people spit on me and do that bullshit, you must be crazy as hell. No man in their right mind will sit
Yeah,
there and let
man.
someone beat their ass.
Yeah, nah, I'm
Yo,
gonna
And
do
just
what
let
you
me
spit on
let me
me.
just
You spit
let me
on me,
just say
man. I'm gonna
this.
do what I'm gonna do worse than just beat you up like that. You're done.
Let me just say this, and this is an historical event that happened in New York, and Ronan is probably familiar with it. I think it was the 12th precinct. I'm pretty sure. I don't know which precinct it was, but it was in Brooklyn. The Jews tore down the precinct, tore it down. Not one Jew was hurt. Not one Jew was shot. You know what they did? Renovated it.
that's it.
And this is not just me talking shit. Anybody that's from New York knows that story.
Yeah. Well, what are the other one? How remember the one Crown Heights? When
Yeah,
the Jewish guy who hit the kid, he
yeah.
never went to jail. This is
Went to
here it is. This
Israel.
is a classic example of nationhood power. They took his ass up out of here to Israel. No charges were pressed, nothing. He killed that kid. They got him the hell up out of there.
Yep.
Mm.
You
See,
can't
see the
sit here.
advantages of having your own nation.
You got these cats who want to clap back at us. They ain't got no answer for it. When I used to be on Facebook, because I'm not. I can't do it anymore. I can't. When someone clapped back at me one time, I was like, it's the C. You talking about this voting, blah blah blah, all this other nonsense. It took Jewish people 12 years of getting their asses kicked by the Nazis, and guess they got a country. We've been here 496 years, and we doing the same old shit. You expect me to follow you? Nah, hell no. If you're gonna walk into hell voluntarily, don't complain when you get stuck in the ass with a pitchfork. You chose to walk into hell. I ain't doing it with you,
Yeah.
and I ain't coming to get you either. Like, I'm gonna make this show. I'm going to walk into hell. I might need you to give me that lifeline. No, I will not. You can walk right in. You can figure out how to get your ass up out of there. I ain't helping
Yeah.
you. Are you for nationhood or you're not? It's not even. It's a yes or no.
Yep.
Don't talk about all these black folks on here. They get on these radio shows and like it's just black hyperbole. It's not even black power speech. It's just hyperbole.
Yeah. And I still don't understand what the role is for a black conservative. Nobody has explained that to me yet. I don't
I can tell
understand
you.
what they want. Yeah, I don't understand what they want. I don't understand what their goal is or what they stand for or what they even bring of like of value. And all these far right wing black people that are popping up and a certain somebody's who's been giving them fucking airtime and propping these dudes up. It's like, bro, these dudes are selfish as fuck. They don't care about the collective. They're just doing exactly what they're saying. They're just using America to make money to make themselves comfortable under white supremacy. That's what they're doing.
Oh, well, you just
Why is
answered the
this?
question, son.
Yeah, it's like why? It's like why are you giving these fuck faces airtime? Why are you fucking propping them up like, hey, all you niggas out here need to be doing this right here. You over here working 9 to 5, and then it's like, nigga, how did you get all your money to even do the stuff you're doing? Like, didn't you work 9 to 5 at one point? Like, why are you bashing other black people? Like,
And
what
how
is it
about
with these
this? How
dudes?
about the stat that the average worker in America makes what? How much money per year?
20, like $30,000, maybe 40, maybe less. Somewhere
Around
like that.
that.
They live in.
Are we just gonna ignore that? And I'm talking about that's across the board. That just ain't black people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just gonna ignore that and act like money is just pouring out. Oh, you gotta get out here and hustle. Hustle for what, nigga? It's a very small percentage of people who's getting paid out here. So fuck everybody else. Why do I want to be in a country like that, man? I don't want to be in a country like if you're in the neighborhood where everybody's poor, you gonna go build a mansion there?
Yeah.
What sense does that make? I
But
want everybody to have a standard of living that's up to par with mine so that I don't have to worry about nobody coming in and trying to kidnap my people.
because people ain't thinking realistically, man. Everyone cannot be a goddamn multi-billionaire. I don't want to be a multi-billionaire because first of all, from my mindset is that you putting a target on your back.
Mm-hmm.
I like living comfortably. I have no,
Yeah.
just being comfortable. Give me a Corvette. That's my favorite car. A
Hell yeah.
nice, modest house, and that's it. I don't need to be a multi-billionaire because money. Look, I've been around enough dudes in my lifetime who are hustlers and stuff like that, and I saw what that shit did to them. They became raving paranoid maniacs. The more they got, the more ridiculous and off the chart. And ain't none of them here. They're all gone.
And
Like
you know
people
what,
don't
Ronan?
understand that.
You know what? I figured out the reason why everybody is pushing entrepreneurship because when you're a nationalist, you create industries to make jobs. That's how you create jobs through the building of your infrastructure, through the industries that it takes to build that infrastructure. Blue collar and white collar jobs come out of that. So, of course, they're not going to preach that because then they be nationalists. So, what do you preach? The rugged individualism, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, be an entrepreneur shit. Because why? You don't control the context of that.
Nope.
You're just trying to get in where you fit in. So, like I said, becoming a nationhood influencer, having a nationalist mindset clears up a lot of bullshit that the Black Power American and the militant integrationists and the Captain America Negro go through. If you want to come out of that triad of stupidity, become a nationalist. Start thinking from a nationhood perspective. And then everything will become clear to you because that, like I said, that's what Amos did for me. He was a spark for me that made me go, oh shit, this is what this is about. It may not be Amos for you. It may be somebody else. I'm just saying you need to come up out of that Black Power American, militant integrationist, Captain America Negro mindset. And once you elevate past that and you become a nationalist, watch how simple things are. You can look at any issue from an African-centered perspective after you do that.
I agree.
No matter what the issue is, you can tie it about how does this help Black people? How does this affect Black people? How does this affect us globally? How does this affect us collectively? And that's your mindset when it comes to all of this shit. So that you don't get caught up in these ideological wastelands and fucking dark alleys.
You can't take I can't take those people seriously because they're all diluted. Like, you know what? It's something I heard an interview that the dude from S Clan said about Redman, Brother Jay. He said, you know why they don't take Redman seriously? And I asked him why. He was like, because he's always doing tracks on other people's records. He was like, I'm not dissing Redman. He's like, Redman is one of the great MCs of all time. He's like, but he's always on other people's tracks. He was like, people don't take you seriously unless you just show up once in a while. Like Rakim just shows up and that's it. All these people, just like Deontay was saying, you got these people on a specific individual's show. He's always there. You can't take them seriously because they're just saying the same old tired shit over and over and over again. And then on his show, they go somewhere else and somewhere else and somewhere else. And that's why we shouldn't even debate these people. Because if we start debating these individuals, then we fall right in that cycle. Tit for tat, battling this one, and stuff like that. When they want to do that, go ahead, go down that route. Getting in these arguments with these people is a waste of time. They ain't gonna figure it out. It's pointless.
Yeah, and that's my problem with those people and the people that are propping them up. And it's just like, bro, you're feeding these people some fucking fake fantasy shit. Because if you could get rich by solely just investing in this fucking country, almost nobody would be poor. So already, and the only way how these people who you're investing in got their money is by starting a business. And some of these people started literally from dirt poor fucking nothing. So I'm not understanding how you know that and you're bashing people who work 9 to 5 and just toting around rampant fucking what did Hollop just say? Rampant just individualism and entrepreneurship, and then some of these cats are not even that successful. They're just dumping money into a market. They're basically gambling. They're just hoping that that's going to pay off. And in this country right now, with the way things are looking, you putting money into almost anything right now is high risk, low reward. So I'm trying to figure out, are you trying to help these people or hurt these people? Because right now, that's some. And then my favorite thing they do is, well, you need to sign up to my website. And then I'm gonna teach you how to use Bitcoin and this and that. And it's like, bro, you are the worst kind of snake. You guys are always trying to make a fucking profit off of people who don't got nothing while bashing them at the same time.
Because they don't have a nationalist mentality. They're not nationalists. They don't think about the whole. They only think about themselves. And to be honest with you, they're kind of stupid. Because if you, from a sheer capitalist point of view, it would make sense for you to build somewhere where you have frontier going on, where you have opportunities going on.
Right.
It would make sense from that perspective. Just on a pure capitalist level, you ain't even got no sense.
Yeah, and then right now, and then these people don't even take into the consideration that people are actually leaving the United States. Mexicans don't even really want to come here. If they do, they're just taking bits of money that they can. They're going back to wherever they're from. And the largest ethnic group of people that are actually leaving the United States are actually white. That's what people really don't get. More white people are leaving the States than anything. So that should be telling you something.
Yeah, man. This place is miserable.
Yeah.
It's miserable. Who wants to be here? Now keep in mind, when we were at Prospect Park, oh man, them people is living the life of Riley. They had tables set up where you would think you was at a 5-star restaurant. People had like silverware and stuff and like all types of elaborate shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Did people not realize they just go into the park? But these are rich white people.
Right. Right.
So of course, like I say, for them, everything's fine. It's great. It's great to be white with money in America. It's like the world is your oyster. But you know
Right.
what? I want to experience that feeling. Like I got it for a short, brief period of time to experience what it's like to be surrounded by black folks who's in control when I went to Rwanda. And I want to have that feeling once again, but not just temporarily, permanently.
I heard that.
Let these people have it, man. Let them have it. And I know that that's like if somebody, if an FBA or DOS was to hear me say that, oh my God, it would be on and popping for them. That's like sacrilege to say that. Let them have America. This is prime real estate.
My ancestors are buried here.
Yeah.
Shit is this?
The bones, my bones.
Well, nigga, dig them up and take them with you. Fuck.
All that shit. Doing it right here.
Anyway, I think we put in our 2 hours.
Yes, we have.
Let's wrap it up. I'm going to give Underrated Mind the last word so he can say grilled cheese.
Oh, crap.
Thank you. Feel lucid to
Feel lucid.
do the spoken word, land of instruction nation, land of instruction nation.
This nigga is out of it.
No, but pretty much to sum it up, if I have my last words, Nationhood Influencers is imperative. We gotta have more people that believe in creating a new reality for African people and folks that just advocate it so much. And with the BAIO membership dues, with the spreading of content and just, representing it, doesn't mean that, you have to be over the top, but just, spread the word, comment, subscribe, share the content, put on a shirt every now and then. Like I recently just went to Family Dollar with my BAIO t-shirt. And you know what's so funny? I had 3 people come up to me and say, "Hey, like, well, what does that t-shirt mean?" And then the conversation started from there, just like that.
Yep.
Just for them looking at it, they saw the logo and they were curious about it. So yeah, we need Nationhood Influencers. To answer the question of Black Atcher Productions, yes, we are having a lounge tonight. Open discussion mainly. I don't really have any specific topic. Whoa. We will talk about the boys as one of the topics.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That shit is just so good. But yeah. We got that. And any last words that I could think of besides what I just said? Nope. Lounges tonight. Stay tuned for some more content coming from us. And yeah, BLT, bacon, egg, and cheese. Woo!
There you go. I knew it was coming. Yo, I'm gonna be on there rapidly around 9 because I got something I gotta deal with at 8:00. Underrated too. It's gonna be a part of that. We got to do an IT meeting, but after after that we'll come there. So we should be there at around 9:00. So if y'all want to start it at 9, that's cool. Rather than 8.
That's cool.
I'll do that.
Cool.
I'll be there for the first time in a few weeks.
No problem.
I'll be there.
All right, y'all.
All right.
Peace and love to everybody. I'll holler at y'all later.
Peace.
Peace out.